Chapter 1001 Kill 2 Taoist Incarnations in a Row. Yi Tian didn't know these 3 Taoist incarnations. After all, there were so many Taoist ancestors that he couldn't recognize them all. But he can be sure that these 3 Taoist incarnations definitely have bad intentions, which can be seen from the hostility of each other. I don't know what the 3 Taoist ancestors stopped me for. Yi Tian asked. Hand over the heaven-splitting divine pillar, I will spare you from dying. One of the Taoist incarnations said. Yi Tian smiled slightly and said, 3 Tao ancestors, I only have 1 heaven-splitting divine pillar, and you have 3, who should I give it to? You don't need to stir up trouble. One of the Taoist incarnations smiled and said, you shouldn't know us, otherwise you wouldn't ask such a question. The 3 of us are the 3 great ancestors of an organization. You may have heard of this organization. Yes, it's the 10 Kills organization. 10 Kills organization. Yi Tian had naturally heard of this organization, but it was as infamous as the Dark God Temple, but it was not as powerful as the Dark God Temple, because the 10 Kills organization had no top Taoist ancestors, they were all forces composed of ordinary Taoist ancestors. It is said that the 10 Kills organization has 10 ordinary Taoist ancestors, a large number of 29 true ancestors and countless true monarchs, and they also have a certain influence in the chaos, but because there is no top Taoist ancestors, it is impossible to compete with those real top powers. For example, Shu Tian Daozu alone can suppress the 10 killing organization. Seeing that the 3 were the Taoist ancestors of the same organization, Yi Tian knew that his provocation was useless. After all, the heaven-splitting divine pillar did not improve personal strength much, but was more important to the power, so it was impossible for these 3 Taoist ancestors to kill each other. In this case, he will not hide. The 3 Taoist ancestors, please leave immediately, or you will stay here forever. 1. Yi Tian said coldly, dare to threaten us. The 3 Taoist ancestors of the 10 killing organization were angry. As Taoist ancestors, why did they ever put the little real monarch in their eyes? True monarchs are ants to them, but ants threaten them, that is to provoke and despise them, this is a big sin. Boom. The 3 Tao ancestors took action one after another, vowing to kill Yi Tian, although they would offend Zushan Tao ancestor, but Shu Tian Tao ancestor would not kill the 10 killing organization for a direct disciple. After all, in the long years, Zushan's lineage has also lost many direct disciples. If every time a direct disciple died, Zushan Daozu personally took action, how could it be possible? As for Zushan Yimai meeting the 10 killing organization, they are not afraid of the 10 killing organization. Confinement. A powerful source divine power acted on Yi Tian's body, trying to imprison Yi Tian. Then, another soul attack origin divine ability attacked Yi Tian, and another powerful attack type origin divine ability also attacked Yi Tian. 1 is imprisoned, 2 are soul attacks, and 3 are direct attacks. It can be said that the incarnations of the 3 Tao patriarchs cooperate very well, and their power far exceeds that of a Tao patriarch incarnation. 1 plus 1 plus 1 does not add up to 3, but several times 3. If the strength is only comparable to the incarnation of ordinary Taoist ancestors, Yi Tian probably won't even have a chance to fight back, and he will be killed by the incarnation of the 3 Taoist ancestors directly. Cracking the heavenly pillar. Yi Tian summoned the phantom of the heaven-splitting divine pillar, and the terrifying coercion directly lifted the confinement. Then, Yi Tian augmented himself with the phantom of the heaven-splitting divine pillar, and used the yin and yang sword. Puff! The yin and yang sword instantly shattered the body of one of the Taoist incarnations, cutting it in half. Daozu's incarnation of a powerful physical body is described as a fake under the sword of yin and yang, and he can't compete with such a powerful source of supernatural powers. Of course, the incarnation of Taoist ancestors would not be killed directly by the yin and yang poles, and the incarnation of Taoist ancestors was not so weak. Wow, the incarnation of this Taoist ancestor mobilized Taoism, and the 2 halves of the body healed instantly. The fight continues. Yi Tian's strength itself is on top of the ordinary Taoist incarnation, plus the inscription pattern of the God-splitting God's pillar has tripled his strength, and the combat power is far superior to the ordinary Taoist incarnation. Even if these 3 Tao ancestor incarnations join forces to kill Yi Tian, they are not Yi Tian's opponents. Every attack of Yi Tian can tear apart a Tao ancestor incarnation's body. The strength gap between the 2 sides is too big, unless a group of Taoist incarnations attack Yi Tian, or Yi Tian can't be helped. How is it possible that we are the Taoist ancestors, or is he the Taoist ancestors? The 3 Taoist incarnations were completely speechless. They were also shocked by Yi Tian's amazing combat power. This is simply unreasonable. Even if they have rich combat experience, have a higher understanding of the Great Tao, and are more comfortable with the use of the source magical power, Yi Tian's power is too terrifying. It is simply a force to break through all methods. The terrifying power accelerates the increase of the source magical power, and the attack power terrible. Just when the three Taoist incarnations were about to escape, Yi Tian blocked the void with the Black Wind Domain technique, and added a space half-Tao device of the half-Tao artifact level to completely stabilize the space. The battlefield ruins were not easy to break the space, and they were blocked by Yi Tian. The three Taoist incarnations couldn't break the space and leave at all, and could only fly away slowly. But Yi Tian's speed is faster than them, they can't escape at all. If they escaped separately, Yi Tian alone would not be able to stop Yi Tian, and he would be killed easily. But as the battle came to the back, the three Tao ancestors did their best and only slightly injured Yi Tian, and they were seriously injured and dying. Let's run away, one can escape. The three Taoist incarnations looked at each other and said helplessly. If you escape separately, you will definitely not be able to escape, at most one escape, but it is better than annihilation of the whole army. Hopefully this avatar survives, the three Taoist incarnations thought to themselves. Swish, 293. The three Taoist incarnations flew in three directions, and Yi Tian responded quickly without any entanglement, and directly killed one of the Taoist incarnations. Boom! A blow shook the air, directly shaking one of the Taoist incarnations into a blood mist. Just when the other party wanted to reunite the body, the yin and yang swords broke it up again. Under the rounds of attacks, the Taoist incarnation completely dissipated. Then, Yi Tian chased after the second Taoist incarnation and quickly killed him. At this time, the third Taoist avatar had escaped a long distance and was constantly traveling through space. But in a place like the battlefield ruins, every time you travel through space, you can't travel too far. Suddenly, the expression of this Taoist avatar changed, and he found that he had the imprint of the infinite immortality technique on his body. Oops, he realized something was wrong. If it is normal, if someone casts the infinite immortality technique on him, he will definitely find out at the first time, but just now he has been running away, all the thoughts in his mind are alive, so he didn't pay much attention to the infinite immortality technique. Break. This Taoist incarnation instantly broke the imprint of the infinite void life technique. But at this moment, a figure came out from the space crack in front, looking at him with a sneer. This person is Yi Tian. He chased after him. Chapter 1002. Another ancestral incarnation perishes. As soon as Yi Tian appeared, he immediately used the yin and yang bipolar sword, the source of divine power, to split the Taoist incarnation in an instant, and then used another method to constantly greet the Taoist incarnation. After a round of attacks, the Taoist avatar finally couldn't hold on, could no longer heal, and completely disintegrated, exposing countless treasures in the body space. So far, the three Tao ancestor incarnations have all fallen, and Yi Tian has harvested many treasures that the three Tao ancestor incarnations have harvested over the years, which is a big profit. In fact, he didn't want to fight with Taoist incarnations, but these Taoist incarnations had to surround him. The movement of Yi Tian and the incarnation of the three great Tao ancestors was a bit big, and some true monarch divine consciousness spied here before, so he knew about this battle. At this time, the battle was over, and the situation about the battle was naturally publicized. Soon, many true monarchs on the battlefield ruins knew about Yi Tian and the three Taoist incarnations fighting, and knew that Yi Tian killed the three Taoist incarnations. This time, Yi Tian was completely famous. What is the concept of Taoist incarnation? It is easy to kill a half-step true ancestor. Even the very powerful half-step true ancestor is not an opponent of Taoist incarnation at all. At the very least, the incarnations of Taoist ancestors have been here for so long, and no half-step true ancestor has been able to beat the incarnation of Taoist ancestors. All true monarchs or half-step true ancestors who have provoked the incarnation of Taoist ancestors have all fallen, and only a few can use the help. Escape from special treasures or secret techniques. And the only person who actually killed the Taoist incarnation was Yi Tian. Before, Yi Tian beheaded Tu Mindaozu, but because Yi Tian beheaded him under the blockade of the Void Lock, no one saw the battle process, so many people did not recognize Yi Tian beheading Tu Mindaozu. As for the latter, Yi Tian grabbed the heaven-splitting divine pillar from many Taoist incarnations, and it was also considered that Yi Tian grabbed it by chance, due to luck. But this time was different. Yi Tian fought against the incarnations of the three great Tao ancestors and killed them one by one. Some of the nearby true monarchs even recorded the battle, which shocked everyone. Battlefield ruins, the interior of an ancient well in the underground ruins. Goddess Yunzi is practicing with the help of the water of the ancient well. This ancient well is not an ordinary ancient well, but a natural treasure. The water of the ancient well here is completely the treasure of heaven and earth, and it is an excellent treasure for tempering the flesh. At this time, her breath was many times stronger than when she first entered the battlefield ruins, which shows how much benefit she has gained during this time. If someone came here, they would find that Goddess Yunzi exudes the light of the extreme way. If a true monarch tempers his body to the extreme, he will gradually form a body of the extreme way. The body of the extreme way represents that the body has evolved to the extreme at the level of the true monarch, and can no longer advance an inch. This is the real body of the extreme way. And the Goddess Yunzi exudes the light of the extreme way, which proves that she has touched the threshold of the body of the extreme way, and it is not far from the complete formation of the body of the extreme way. When she becomes the body of the extreme way, the physical body will be tempered to the current limit. As long as she gathers a complete avenue, she can break through and enter the realm of the half-step true ancestor. Of course, if you don't have the body of the extreme way, as long as you have a complete avenue, you can also break into the half-step real ancestor realm, but in this way, your own potential cannot be fully realized, and few real monarchs will be so stupid. Goddess Yunzi was far from reaching the realm of the body of the extreme way before, but now she is about to form the body of the extreme way, which shows that her progress is really great. However, even if the Goddess Yunzi had formed the body of the extreme way, her physical strength was far inferior to Yi Tian. Once the foundation is set, it is difficult to change. Yi Tian's foundation is too strong, no one can compare with it, even a Taoist ancestor like Yunzi Goddess can't compare with Yi Tian, the difference between the two sides is too big to an unbelievable level. Suddenly, Goddess Yunzi opened her eyes, and she accepted the news from other true monarchs of the God of War Tower. Daozi Wanfa beheaded 3 Taoist incarnations. How is this possible? Goddess Yunzi couldn't believe it. She is very aware of the power of the Taoist incarnation. No matter how much she looks at Yi Tian, she can't imagine that she can be comparable to the Taoist incarnation. Before, she was confident that Yi Tian could be comparable to those powerful half-step true ancestors, but those half-step true ancestors were also like ants in the eyes of Taoist incarnation, and the two sides were not on the same level at all. But now, Yi Tian beheaded 3 Taoist incarnations, and it was Zhengde Guangming who killed the 3 Taoist incarnations. This is too terrifying. Immediately, she laughed at herself. I thought I was making rapid progress, but I didn't expect Wanfa Daozi to make even greater progress. Of course, she wouldn't be arrogant enough to compare with Yi Tian. But Yi Tian's strength really stimulated her and made her understand that she was still weak. It was really good luck to find such a treasure this time, and she naturally had to cultivate and improve her strength. There are many true monarchs who think like the Goddess Yunzi. For example, those true monarchs in the Zushan temple are really stunned by Yi Tian's amazing record. And true monarch Yanglong, who was Yi Tian's servant, was also stunned by his master's strength, and hurriedly sent a message to congratulate his master. In the blink of an eye, dozens of days have passed. Yi Tian finally found Lanyu Daozu. He never gave up chasing Lanyu Daozu, Mengyu Daozu and Fengbo Daozu, but the traces of these Daozu are not easy to find. Until now, they were only found by a Zushan temple. Zhenjin found out and informed him. Yi Tian, there is no hatred between us at all. I was the one who reminded you to be careful of the ancestors. Daozu Lanyu roared. He was afraid. He didn't care about Yi Tian before, but now Yi Tian has killed 4 Taoist incarnations in total, and his strength is much stronger than him. He didn't want this incarnation to fall on the battlefield ruins, so he persuaded him. Lanyu Daozu, what did you think that day? Don't think I don't know, and you are still chasing and killing me with other Daozu incarnations. If I didn't have the means, I'm afraid I would have perished. I'm different from your Daozu, your current the body is just an incarnation, and it doesn't matter if I die, but I am the main body. Once I fall, I will really fall. With my current strength, even my master cannot revive me. Therefore, between you and me hatred is great. Yi Tian said. Daozu Lanyu knew that he couldn't move Yi Tian, so he went all out to escape, not daring to fight Yi Tian at all. However, he could not escape. In an instant, he was caught up by Yi Tian. After a while, the incarnation of Lanyu Daozu was beheaded here by Yi Tian. In the chaos outside the quasi-Dao world, a roar came from a Dao ancestor. This Dao ancestor was the ancestor of Lanyu Dao. Chapter 1003 Transcendental Forces. Yi Tian, I want you to die. Lanyu Daozu roared, and his breath shattered the chaotic void that was surrounded by hundreds of millions of miles. But he could only roar, and couldn't do anything else at all. Could it be that the real body came to the battlefield ruins of the Quandao world? In that case, under the backlash, his strength is estimated to be only comparable to the previous Taoist incarnation, and maybe he will be killed by Etienne and become a joke of chaos. After all, there has never been a Taoist ancestor killed by a true monarch in the chaos. Even a seriously injured and dying Taoist cannot be killed by a true monarch. The Taoist who can be suppressed by the quasi-Tao world and under the backlash is really weak to the extreme. He didn't want to be a joke like that, and naturally he wouldn't die in the quasi-Tao world. Moreover, even if Yi Tian didn't kill him, there were not many Taoist ancestors who wanted to kill him. Between Daozu and Daozu, as long as the strength gap is not too large, it is difficult to distinguish life and death. For example, according to the division of the realm of the gods, he is a relatively weak first-layer Tiandao ancestor, but even the top first-layer Tiandaozu can't kill him, and even some second-layer Tiandaozu can only hurt him. If he wants to escape, the second it is also difficult for Daozu Chongtian to chase and kill him. After all, Dao ancestor had too many cards and too many means to save his life. The Dao ancestor who is truly sure to kill him completely is at least the third heavenly Dao ancestor, which can guarantee that he cannot escape. Another few months and 293 hours. Yi Tian found the incarnation of Daozu Mengyu. This is a female Daozu, but Yi Tian didn't care about men and women at all, and killed the incarnation of Daozu Mengyu with his powerful strength. A year later, Yi Tian found the incarnation of Uncle Feng Daozu again. The other party was going to hide it, but he was reluctant to keep appearing all kinds of opportunities. It was brought out by chance and found by Yi Tian, thus killing him in one fell swoop. At this point, all the incarnations of the four great Dao patriarchs who chased Yi Tian before fell to their death. And Yi Tian's prestige is even more prosperous, and even has the title of Daozu Incarnate Killer. But Yi Tian knew very well that the incarnations of those top Taoist ancestors were currently attacking places of chance, and he didn't have time to pay attention to him. Therefore, after Yi Tian killed Feng Bo Daozu's incarnation, he kept a low profile and was no longer so high profile. With the passage of time, the ruins of the battlefield have almost been developed, and many sect forces have been excavated by countless true monarchs and a large number of Taoist incarnations. Yi Tian has also obtained countless benefits, and even obtained CJFI, a lot of inheritances, as well as Taoist tools, innate origins, various secret techniques and so on. Originally in the chaos, treasures such as Taoist tools were almost rare, and they were all treasures owned by the top true ancestors, but now even some true monarchs can have Taoist tools. Although they can't use Taoist tools, they do not. As for the Longing device, it can be said that Tao devices are almost common. The current net worth of some powerful true monarchs is not as good as the entire net worth of a former Taoist ancestor. The world has changed so fast that the Taoist ancestors cannot sigh. In the chaos, Tao ancestors kept awakening, and they rushed to the quasi-Tao world, making the Quan Tao world more and more lively, and even new top powers were involved. In the past, some of the top powers in the chaos did not care about the birth of a Tao realm at all, but now I heard the situation of the quasi-Tao realm, and I couldn't help it. For example, the star-horned beast family, one of the four transcendental forces. The star-horned beasts are a family of chaotic beings. The members of this family are born with chaotic beings, and they have the cultivation of the realm of destiny at birth. Basically, the star-horned beasts can become the true ancestors of the Tao realm when they are adults. What is this concept? Other races have spent countless years, and only a few top existences can hope to become the true ancestor. For example, there are countless disciples in the Zushan lineage, among which the real leader can become the true ancestor only by luck, but the star-horned beast family can become the true ancestor when they are adults. This is the powerful transcendental force of the bloodline. In terms of strength, Zushan Yimai is far from the star-horned beast family. However, the star-horned beast clan is so powerful that it cannot occupy the chaos. Because of the problem of the number of races, coupled with the unity of other major forces to fight against the four transcendental forces, there is only room for survival. In the past, the four transcendental forces didn't take much action at all, they all lived in their own clan, and only a few clansmen would go out to experience. But this time, the star-horned beasts are also interested in aiming at the Taoist world and want to participate. If it is a normal force, the major top forces will simply ignore it, but the star-horned beast family is too strong, and these forces naturally dare not stop it. Out of bounds, huge star-horned beasts came with chaotic vitality, and soon came to the edge of the quasi-Tao world. This time there are a total of thousands of star-horned beasts, of which 6 star-horned beasts are at the level of Taoist ancestors. Using the strength of the realm of the gods, these six-headed star-horned beasts are not ordinary Taoist ancestors but three-level heavenly Taoist ancestors. It is on the same level as Zushin Daozu. He dispatched 6 triple heavenly Tao ancestors casually, which is the background of the star-horned beast clan. In addition to the 6 third-level heavenly Tao ancestors, there are dozens of true ancestors, and the rest are all at the true monarch level. This is the newly born quasi-Tao world. I heard that countless true monarchs from the entire chaos have entered it. A star-horned beast with the ultimate true monarch looked at the quasi-Tao world and said, "This true monarch is a descendant of a Taoist ancestor of the star-horned beast family, and he is a descendant of the royal family. His bloodline is extremely noble, far exceeding other star-horned beasts. His Royal Highness, it is said that many relics have been born in this quasi-Tao world. It seems that it is a relic of some realm, and even the incarnation of Tao ancestors has ended." Another true monarch voiced, "HMPH, no matter what the ruins are, our star-horned beasts are here, and all the treasures inside should belong to our star-horned beasts." Tuolong said domineeringly, "Don't underestimate the geniuses of other forces, some geniuses are strong enough to rival you." The person who opened the mouth was a triple heavenly ancestor of the star-horned beast. Tuolong can ignore other geniuses, or even ordinary Daozu, but he still respects the Daozu of his own clan, and naturally does not dare to object. He nodded repeatedly, "Yes, Luo Haida ancestor." The Great Ancestor is the honorary title given to the Taoist ancestors by the Star Beast Horn family. Although Luo Hai's ancestor was not Tuolong's ancestor, he was also one of the senior members of the Star-Horned Beast family. Suddenly, chaos was rippling in the void, and a group of people came over again. Seeing these people, Tuolong's expression changed, and the 6 triple heaven ancestors of the Star-Horned Beast family also became solemn. Chapter 1004 The First Transcendental Force, Daoshan. "It's the man of the Forbidden Hall. Ancestor Luo Hai, the Star-Horned Beast clan," said in a low voice. At the same time, the other Taoist ancestors in the vicinity also noticed the people in the Forbidden Hall, and even the Zushin Taoist ancestors in a palace in the distance opened their eyes and focused some of their attention on the people in the Forbidden Hall. The people of the Forbidden Hall, they are here too. For the arrival of the people from the Forbidden Hall, Zushin Daozu is not surprised at all, but the other party came faster this time. Because the Forbidden Palace is seldom related to things in the chaos, and although the quasi-Tao world has made a lot of noise, it is actually not spreading fast. Almost all the major forces have controlled the news and are unwilling to inform the 4 transcendental forces. But the 4 transcendental forces are still coming one by one. The star-horned beasts are here because the star-horned beasts occasionally have their clansmen to go out to experience, but there are very few people in the Forbidden Hall, and even sometimes no one comes out to experience. Did not expect to get the news. About the origin of the Forbidden Hall, Daozu Zushin doesn't know much, only that it is a group of forces that are separated from the Dark Forbidden area. Of course, even the mysterious Forbidden Palace only dared to roam around the Dark Forbidden area, but they had mastered special methods to go deeper into the Dark Forbidden area, and they stayed much longer than other Taoist ancestors. It was rumored that the people in the Forbidden Hall had opened up a small place in the outermost part of the Dark Forbidden area as a safe area. This kind of ability makes Shu Tian Daozu panic. As for whether the news is true or false, no one knows. But the Forbidden Temple is really powerful, and any Taoist who comes out at random is a 3rd-level heavenly Taoist, and even a 4th-level heavenly Taoist. There was once a top power with similar strength to the Zushin lineage that offended the Forbidden Palace. It is said that they wanted to explore the secrets of the Forbidden Palace and completely enmity with the Forbidden Palace. As a result, a 4th-level heavenly Tao ancestor directly swept the top power, completely shocked the countless forces of chaos, and also gave people a new understanding of transcendental forces. I saw that the people in the Forbidden Hall were wearing black armor, and it was said that this black armor was made of a material from the Dark Forbidden area and had the effect of absorbing attack power. But ordinary people can't wear this kind of black armor. Once it is worn, it is easy to be invaded by a strange force. Only the strong in the Forbidden Hall can wear this kind of armor. And this armor also has a name disabled. 6 Taoist ancestors, 10 true monarchs. This is all the personnel of the Forbidden Hall who have arrived. The number is very small, but even the true monarchs of the star-horned beasts dare not underestimate the true monarchs of the Forbidden Hall, because the people of the Forbidden Hall are very strong. Even the true monarchs must also be a real enchanting genius. 2 of the 4 transcendental forces have come today. Will the other 2 transcendental forces also send people? Another force is coming, Zushin Daozu murmured. Under the watchful eyes of the public, a group of chaotic beings came from tearing apart the space, and the number was very large. It's the people of the Chaos Life Alliance, and they're here too. Many Taoist ancestors were surprised. The Chaos Life Alliance is composed of a large number of Chaos Life races, but it does not include all the Chaos Life races. The reason why the Chaos Life Alliance is a transcendent force is that it is different from the Forbidden Temple and the Starhorn Beasts. The Forbidden Temple and the Starhorn Beasts are truly powerful individuals, but the Chaos Life Alliance relies on a large number. For example, the Chaos Life Alliance, there are thousands of Taoist ancestors alone. Although most of them are ordinary first-layer Tiandao ancestors, the number is enough to form a crushing matter, and other top forces can't beat the Chaos Life Alliance at all. And there are more true ancestors and true monarchs of the Chaos Life Alliance, and it is difficult to describe them in numbers. The Chaos Life Alliance also has its own territory, a large territory, and basically only the universe and Taoism born in the territory of the Chaos Life Alliance belong to them. The quasi-Tao world where Yitian is located belongs to the Cultivator Force, but now the Chaos Life Alliance has also come to intervene. However, the two transcendental forces of the Forbidden Temple and the Starhorn Beasts have come today, and the major top forces naturally dare not stop the Chaos Life Alliance. Katakana middle. Ask for flowers. This time, the Chaos Life Alliance has nearly 100 Taoist ancestors and millions of true monarchs. This is definitely just an advance force. Other Taoist ancestors will definitely come one by one. Let go. In fact, the Taoist ancestors of several transcendental forces have not really realized the opportunities contained in the fragments of the domain, otherwise it is estimated that all of them will come this time. At this time, the three major transcendental forces have come, and only the last transcendental force is left. Obviously, the four transcendental forces may have all come into contact with each other, and they all know about the realm of quasi-Tao, so the last transcendental force will definitely come. It didn't take long for everyone to wait. Only an hour later, the last transcendental force came slowly. This transcendent force is the real chaotic overlord level force, which is above the other three transcendent forces. Even the powerhouses of the Forbidden Hall are absolutely reluctant to provoke this transcendent force. This transcendent force is Daoshan. Daoshan is the first transcendental force of chaos, and even the first Daozu of chaos is a person of Daoshan. In the Endless Era, Daoshan's Daozu preached chaos, which pointed out the path of Daozu to all living beings. It can be said that Daoshan's status is very detached. However, Daoshan is completely out of the chaotic territory, and the master of Daoshan has opened up a Tao world. All Daoshan people live in that huge Tao world, and they will not come out for a long time. Only Taoist ancestors can occasionally enter Taoshan and communicate with Taoist ancestors of Taoshan. Daoshan is very powerful, and the master of Daoshan is at least the ancestor of the fifth heaven, so no one dares to provoke Daoshan. Boom! A Taoist ancestor full of endless Taoism came, and the appearance of one of the Taoist ancestors caused the shock of many Taoist ancestors. Because this person is the second mountain master of Tao Mountain, he is definitely the Tao ancestor of the top quartet of strength based on his current strength. He is the Taoist ancestor of the Tianshan Mountains. Chapter 1005 The Origin of Taoism. The Tianshan Daozu is the top 4th layer Tiandaozu, and his strength is far superior to the average 4th layer Tiandaozu, and even compared with the 5th layer Tiandaozu, the gap is not very big. It can be said that there is only one 5th level Taoist ancestor in this realm, and that is the founder of Taoshan, and he is still the founder of the Road of Taoism, Taoshan Taoist. However, this time Daoshan Daozu did not come, but the arrival of Tianshan Daozu was enough to shock many people. Although there are countless opportunities in the battlefield ruins, those opportunities are relatively general and should not be enough to attract the 4th level Taoist ancestors like Tianshan Taoist. However, the arrival of Tianshan Daozu is also enough to represent a signal that Daoshan, the first transcendental force, also attaches great importance to the fragments of the domain. But whether the fragments of the realm can bring them away beyond the Taoist ancestors, no one knows. 293, but the possibility is not very high. After all, according to the news, even in the realm of the gods, the ancestors of the realm, it is also an extremely rare supreme existence, and there is only one domain ancestor in the domain. And what kind of domain ancestor inheritance can a domain boundary fragment have? Of course, even if there is no way for them to surpass the Taoist ancestors, but being able to go further at the level of the Taoist ancestors is also a great opportunity, enough to make countless Taoist ancestors fight and kill for this. All the 4 transcendental forces appeared, and they began to discuss the matter of the quasi-Tao world. Soon, a meeting was held in the chaotic void outside the quasi-Tao world. The Taoist ancestors who were eligible to participate in this meeting were basically the 3rd level and 4th level Taoist ancestors. Zushan Daozu is also one of the Daozu who participated in the meeting, but the status of Zushan Daozu is not too high here. After all, the 4 transcendental forces are all involved, not even the top big forces such as Chaos Trading Firm and Giant Axe City, high status. Seeing that the 3rd heavenly Tao ancestor was almost here, he opened his mouth and said, "Our Daoshan has been aware of the fragmentation of the domain for a while, and we don't know what is inside. Could you please explain in detail?" Immediately, a Taoist ancestor talked about the situation of the fragments of the domain, but the content was not much, just some secrets that most people knew. As for the opportunities and secrets they discovered, they naturally wouldn't say it. Tianshan Daozu knew that he did not know much about the situation of the realm fragments, and he didn't know much about the realm of the gods. As everyone talked, he gradually learned a lot about the realm of the gods and the fragments of the realm. The lower 3-level power, the middle 3-level power, the upper 3-level power, I don't know what level of power our Daoshan belongs to. Tianshan Daozu was a little curious. At this time, a Taoist named Kuishan opened his mouth and said, "Tianshan Taoist, I found a branch of the middle 3 heavens before, and learned a little secret. It is said that the standard of the 4th heaven among the middle 3 heavens is 1. The 4th level Taoist ancestors plus hundreds of ordinary Taoist ancestors are qualified to become the 4th level heavenly forces, and the standard of the 5th level heavenly forces is a 5th level heavenly Taoist ancestor plus 200 ordinary Taoist ancestors, and the 6th level heavenly forces are 1. 6th heavenly Tao ancestor plus 300 ordinary Tao ancestors. If you say that, our Daoshan should belong to the 5 heavenly forces." Tianshan Taoist said in a low voice. In addition to the 5th layered power, there are also the 6th layered, 7th layered, 8th layered, and 9th layered powers. It can be said that there are many powers such as mountains in the realm of the gods. The Tianshan Taoist ancestors were not attacked, nor did they care. Their realm was already very weak, and there was no need to compare with such a large realm as the God Heaven realm. The only thing he cares about is whether there is a 5th level Tian Dao ancestor or a 6th level Taoist ancestor in the domain fragments. Once there is such a Taoist ancestor, the balance of power in the realm will be broken. One of the purposes of his coming here this time is to explore the situation of the powerhouses in the ruins of the Quandao realm. But he had just probed with his divine sense, and he couldn't detect the situation of the domain ruins at all, as if there were no other ruins except those few ruins, but according to what he knew, if the ruins were not born, there would be no ruins at all. Obviously, the domain relics are hidden in the quasi-Dao world using a special concealment method, and even these powerful Taoist ancestors cannot find the relics. At present, we can only wait for the quasi-Dao world to grow step by step, and eventually become the Dao world, and those relics will truly appear in the world. To put it simply, those ruins are like the secret realm of the quasi-Dao world, and they will not be born until a certain period of time. This time, our Daoshan will send some true monarch disciples and half-step true ancestor disciples into the Quandao world. Tianshan Taoist Road, our Forbidden Palace also sent some disciples into the quasi-Dao world. The Chaos Life Alliance also needs to send a large number of true monarchs and half-step true ancestors into the quasi-Dao realm. The Star-Horned Beast clan will also send a large number of clansmen into the quasi-Dao world. The 4 transcendental forces have spoken out one by one, indicating that they will send the true monarchs into the realm of quasi-Dao. Under normal circumstances, there is a limit to the number of true monarchs allowed to enter the Quandao realm, and sending people in again and again requires a great price. But last time, they sent countless true monarchs into the quasi-Dao realm, and they paid a lot of money, almost reaching the maximum limit of the quasi-Dao realm. If they sent people in at this time, the price would be too high, and it would be easy. Cause the suppression of the source of the quasi-Dao world, and if the quasi-Dao world suppresses all the true monarchs in the outside world, the consequences will be too serious. As a result, the 3 heavenly Dao ancestors of the major top powers raised their objections one after another. At this time, Tianshan Daozu opened his mouth and said, "You are worried about the suppression of the source of the quasi-Dao world, but as long as you pay enough price, the source of the quasi-Dao world will not care. After all, it just follows the rules. We can take out a copy the origin of the Dao world, sacrifice to the origin of the quasi-Dao world." 1. What? The origin of the Dao world? Many triple heaven ancestors were shocked. How rare is the origin of the Taoist realm? For example, there is only one Taoist realm at most for the top powers, and once the origin of the Taoist realm is taken, the Taoist realm will be much weaker. For the Taoist realm, the origin of the Taoist realm is extremely important. Of If someone dares to learn the origin of the Tao world, they will definitely be hostile to the origin of the Tao world. Unless they are never inferior to that Tao world, once they enter, they will be completely suppressed by the Tao world. 5.8 These forces can't take out the origin of the Taoist realm at all, and they dare not take it, but Daoshan has taken out the origin of the Taoist realm. Suddenly, many Taoist ancestors thought that the four transcendental forces had destroyed the top forces, and thus also destroyed the Taoist realm, so they all possessed the origin of the Taoist realm. Therefore, the origin of the Taoist realm this time is likely to come from the top power that perished. By sacrificing the origin of the Taoist world, you can naturally send more true monarchs into the Quandao world, and even accelerate the evolution of the Quandao world into the real Taoist world. The true monarchs of other major forces will naturally not disagree, so this matter is settled. Open. The Taoist ancestors of the four transcendental forces took action one after another. After sacrificing 4 copies of the origin of the Taoist world, they tore the barriers of the quasi-Tao world and sent those true monarchs and half-step true ancestors into the quasi-Tao world. Chapter 1006 The Strength of Tuolong. A large number of true monarchs and half-step true ancestors poured into the quasi-Tao realm, and immediately descended on the unowned area of the quasi-Tao realm. Most areas of the Quandao realm are occupied by the real country. The true kings and half-step true ancestors of these 4 transcendental forces are naturally impossible to enter the true kingdom of other forces, so they can only come to the unowned area. However, even if it is an unowned area, the area is unimaginably large, enough for the 4 great transcendental forces to establish a stronghold. In addition, except for the Chaos Life Alliance, the number of true monarchs and half-step true ancestors of the other 3 detached forces is very small, so they can act directly without any stronghold. The number of true monarchs in the Chaos Life Alliance is too large, and each Chaos Life is too large, so it is necessary to establish a stronghold in the quasi-Tao world. Suddenly, the giant cities of the Chaos Life Alliance were established, and these giant cities were built according to the shape of the Chaos Life. Each giant city was comparable to the size of a galaxy, and any house was comparable to the sun and stars. The Chaos Life Alliance wanted to build strongholds aggressively, so 29 did not go to the battlefield ruins immediately, but the true monarchs and half-step true ancestors of the other 3 transcendental forces couldn't help but go to the battlefield ruins. Before, they were very curious about the battlefield ruins, and now that they finally came in, they naturally went to the battlefield ruins to take a look at them and seek some opportunities by the way. With their strength, it should be enough to sweep everything, even if they encounter the incarnation of Taoist ancestors. Is it possible that the incarnations of Taoist ancestors dare to kill them? As a member of the transcendent forces, they are not afraid of those Taoist ancestors, unless those Taoist ancestors want to offend the transcendent forces. But how many Taoist ancestors dared to offend the transcendent forces? The 4 transcendental forces sent people in. Yi Tian got this news from Master Zun Zushin Daozu. Moreover, the Master Zushin Daozu asked him to be careful about the true monarchs and half-step true ancestors of the 4 transcendental forces. He was not worried about his safety, but worried that he would kill the true monarchs of the 4 transcendental forces. In that case, things would not be very good, processed. After all, the Zushin Daozu couldn't compete with the 4th layer Tian Daozu of the 4 transcendental forces. Before the Zushin Daozu was promoted to the 4th layer Tian Daozu, Yi Tian needed to keep a low profile. Even if he wanted to kill people, he had to be secretive. Yi Tian is also not interested in killing the disciples of the 4 great transcendental forces, but if they deliberately provoke him, then he will not be polite. After all, there is no way for the Tao ancestors to come to the quasi-Tao world now. What is he afraid of? Moreover, he is also the reserve peak master of Haifeng Mountain. He can enter the small realm. If he hides in the small realm, other people cannot chase into the small realm unless they can also become the reserve peak master of Haifeng Mountain. But Yi Tian doesn't think that those true monarchs can pass the preparatory peak master assessment. The biggest hope is to go to the peak master assessment with the true ancestor cultivation base, but at present, the quasi-Tao world can't accommodate the real true ancestor powerhouse. Therefore, in a short period of time, Haifeng Mountain should not think about the birth of new reserve peak masters and peak masters. Tuolong of the Starhorn Beast family entered the ruins of the battlefield together with 2 half-step true ancestors. In fact, these 2 half-step true ancestors were his guards. At the beginning, these 2 half-step true ancestors were not pure Starhorned beasts, only a little bloodline of Starhorned beasts. They were just born and they were only Earth respected, but they were promoted as 9-star early-stage gods, although they were not as good as those top the Taoist ancestors passed down, but they are also very powerful. To a certain extent, these two half-step true ancestors are more talented than the pure-blooded star-horn beasts. However, compared with Tuolong, these two half-step true ancestors are quite ordinary. Tuolong is not only a descendant of Taoist ancestors, his talent is also extremely evil among the star-horned beast family. His physical talent is even comparable to that of a genius who has been promoted to the 10-star god general. Many of the top half-step primordial ancestors of the star-horned beast family are even stronger. The star-horned beast family has two forms. One is a beast body, that is, a chaotic life form, similar to a unicorn. The second form is a humanoid form. The humanoid form is the universal form of all creatures in the chaos, and it is also the form most suitable for cultivation. However, when the star-horned beasts really fight to the limit, they will basically show the form of beasts, and usually walk in chaos in the form of humanoids. At this moment, Tuolong and the two half-step true ancestors walked on the battlefield ruins in humanoid form. The space here is very stable, even more stable than the space within the clan. Tuolong exclaimed. Along the way, he encountered many ruins, although there were no treasures in the ruins, but just from the ruins, you could see the fierce fighting in the ruins of the battlefield. In the void, there are often traces of Daozu's killing, and some places even make him fearful and dare not approach. Suddenly, a group of true monarchs in front rushed towards them under the leadership of two half-step true ancestors, and these people's faces were full of bad intentions. Robbery. Two half-step true ancestors and a group of true monarchs surrounded Tuolong and the three of them, threatening coldly. Robbery. Tuolong sneered. Do you know who I am? How dare you rob me? Who are you? I don't care. Anyway, as long as you are not the Taoist of Wanfa, we dare to rob. There are so many true monarchs and two half-step true ancestors here, how dare you resist? One of the half-step true ancestors threatened. This group of them is a small gang, and originally belonged to the same real country. In addition, they continued to unite in the battlefield ruins and gained a lot of benefits. One by one, their strength increased greatly. Two of them even became half-step real ancestors, so they were greedy. More and more serious, they embarked on the road of robbery. They are also very smart. They don't look for the powerful half-step 293 true ancestors, or they don't look for groups with many people, but only rob a small team of one or a few people. Tuolong and others looked very unfamiliar, and they would definitely not be some famous true monarchs and half-step true ancestors, so these people were not afraid at all, just regarded Tuolong as a small character. Don't take action. Tuolong transmitted his voice to the two half-step true ancestors. Yes, Your Highness. The two half-step true ancestors responded. Die. Tuolong shot, and scales appeared on his body, flickering like stars. This is a star beast divine body that belongs to the star-horned beast family alone, with powerful attack and defense power. And Tuolong himself has also tempered his body to the level of the extreme way, and his soul has also been tempered to the limit, only the Tao has not reached the level of the complete Tao. Therefore, his strength is terrifying, and a top true monarch can be captured with a single hand. A famous true monarch turned into a corpse under Tuolong's hands, and even the two half-step true ancestors were not Tuolong's opponents, and they were severely injured by Tuolong in a short while. In less than 5 minutes, a corpse was left in the audience. Some true monarchs tried to use space treasures to shuttle away, but they were intercepted by two half-step true ancestral star-horned beast powerhouses. So far, all of them have died. After killing these true monarchs, Tuolong suddenly said something. Who is the Daozi of Wanfa among these people? Torin asked. Chapter 1007 The Remains of the Headquarters of the Four Heavenly Forces. Tuolong is the first true monarch of the Star-Horned Beast clan, and he claims to be the first genius of transcendental forces. He has always only cared about the geniuses of the other 3 transcendental forces, and to be precise, the geniuses who care about the Forbidden Hall and Daoshan. As for the geniuses of other forces, he paid little attention. If he is a true monarch who has become famous for countless years, he may have heard of it, but Yi Tian is still a native of the universe and has never left the universe. Therefore, Tuolong had never heard of Yi Tian at all, so it was normal not to know Yi Tian. It seems to be a direct disciple that Daozu Zushan recently accepted. Said Tuolong's guard. Shu Tian Dao ancestor. Tuolong knew this Dao ancestor. According to his current strength, he was a 3rd-level Tian Dao ancestor. His strength was not weak, but he was not considered to be the top Dao ancestor in the Star-Horned Beast family. The Star-Horned Beast family has 6 or 7 4th-level heavenly ancestors, and there are 10 or so 3rd-level heavenly ancestors, so they don't care about a mere 3rd-level heavenly ancestor. Let's go, let's find this Daozi Wanfa, I want to learn from him. Tuolong said lightly. His Royal Highness, there are countless opportunities for battlefield relics. Just now I sorted out the storage space of these dead true monarchs and half-step true monarchs, and found that they have a lot of Dao artifacts, rare inheritances, treasures, and resources. As you can imagine, there are absolutely everywhere here. It's a treasure. Tuolong's guard sorted out the treasures one by one and said. What, so many treasures? Tuolong was also stunned. Although he has never been short of resources and has a lot of treasures on his body, he does not dare to underestimate the Taoist weapon. But he only killed some true monarchs and 2 half-step true ancestors, and he actually obtained so many treasures, which is richer than his entire net worth. At this moment, his true ancestor realized how valuable the battlefield relics are. No wonder even the 4 transcendental forces have come forward. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and hunt for treasures. If you come across that Dharma master, it's not too late to learn from him. Tuolong rode. Yes, the 2 half-step true ancestor guards responded. The 4 transcendental forces entered the battlefield relics one after another, and the originally slightly calm battlefield relics boiled again. The true monarchs of the 4 transcendental forces have always been unable to see the true monarchs of the top forces, plus there are too many treasures in the battlefield relics. Almost every true monarch is rich. As a result, the true monarchs of the 4 transcendental forces were moved, and they kept killing other true monarchs. And the true monarchs of the 4 detached forces are indeed very strong, far from being comparable to the general top true monarchs, especially the true monarchs of the Forbidden Palace, Daoshan, and the Star-Horned Beast family. All of them have the combat power of the true monarchs on the true monarch list. Therefore, the true monarchs of the top forces suffered heavy losses, and many true monarchs were killed by the true monarchs of the transcendent forces. Of course, the true monarchs of the detached forces also had bad luck to encounter a large number of true monarchs and were besieged and killed, but such cases of being besieged and killed are rare. Only the true monarchs of the Chaos Life Alliance of the transcendent forces have different levels of strength. Many true monarchs of the Chaos Life Alliance have fallen, but more true monarchs have fallen from other forces. With the emergence of the 4 transcendental forces, a famous true monarch became famous. Tuolong of the Starhorn Beasts, Black Soul and Bailing of the Forbidden Temple, Longfeng of the Blood-Devouring Dragon Clan of the Chaos Life Alliance, Chengguang, Chengxing of Daoshan, and Chendong are the 3 best sons of the heavens. These true monarchs are very famous, and all of them have the combat power to kill the top true ancestors of the Quandao world. However, in the eyes of many true monarchs, no matter how powerful these people are, they are far inferior to Yi Tian, who can kill the incarnation of Dao ancestor. However, no matter how people brag about Yi Tian, the people of the 4 transcendental forces do not believe Yi Tian's record at all. They only think that these are false records that Yi Tian deliberately advertised. Therefore, the geniuses of the 4 transcendental forces all wanted to compete with Yi Tian. This day, a big event happened in the battlefield ruins, which shocked the entire quasi-Dao world, and even attracted the attention of a large number of Dao ancestor incarnations. Somewhere in the ruins of the battlefield ruins, a 100-meter-long space crack appeared in the air. Through the cracks in space, many true monarchs saw the shadow of the building. This seems to be the headquarters of a sect. After the first batch of true monarchs entered, they fell one after another. At first, it attracted little attention, but as a top half-step true ancestor rushed out of the space crack, some secrets about this place were exposed. This is the headquarters of at least a 4th heaven power, and there are still living beings in it. Because those true monarchs who entered the interior were attacked and sensed the breath of life, but because the other party controlled the formation, they killed a large number of true monarchs in an instant. Only the top half-step true ancestor rushed out, which was a fluke, live. But because of the serious injury, after reporting the situation, he was killed by other true monarchs. But the news was leaked, and immediately attracted the attention of the entire battlefield ruins. A large number of true monarchs rushed here, not only did not fear that sect, but wanted to enter it. Yi Tian also got the news, and based on the information, he guessed the origin of that sect. Could it be the middle 3rd heavenly force, Sunset Sect? Yi Tian guessed, because according to the site division, that mountain range should have been the site of the Sunset Sect in the past, but Yi Tian didn't know exactly where the Sunset Sect was. So, he was just guessing. The Sunset Sect is the top 4-layered power. It is said that there are at least 300 Taoist ancestors, but the strongest only have the strength of the 4th-layered Taoist, so they can only be regarded as the 4th-layered power. Yi Tian thought to himself. Such a 4-layered power is too strong, and it is worth mentioning that the Chelong Daozu is an ordinary elder of the Sunset Sect. It is conceivable how powerful the Sunset Sect is. Good promise compared with the sect of the Sunset Sect, the Chalong Dojo is completely a corner place, and it is not a treasure at all. If you get a little benefit from the Sunset Sect, that is the real benefit. The only trouble is that the Sunset Sect is probably dangerous. So many true monarchs and half-step true ancestors have passed by, and even the incarnations of Taoist ancestors have gone one by one. What should I be afraid of? After Yi Tian thought about it this way, he rushed to the Sunset Sect. On the way, he contacted the incarnation of the master, but was told that the master was not planning to go to the Sunset Sect, which showed that the master had the opportunity and was unwilling to leave. Yi Tian didn't insist on this, but only had one big backer. Soon, Yi Tian came to the Sunset Mountain Range where the headquarters of the Sunset Sect was located. As soon as he came here, he was locked in by auras, and these auras seemed to have some hostility and boiling war intentions. Chapter 1008 The Seeds of Reincarnation. You are the Daozi Yi Tian. A young man appeared in front of Yi Tian, with scales all over this person, and a dazzling star horn, coupled with the rich chaotic life breath on the other side. How could Yi Tian still not recognize the other side? Obviously, this person is the true monarch of the star-horned beast clan. I am Yi Tian, you are? Yi Tian asked. Of course, he knew the identity of the person in front of him, because he had just checked it out with his copy talent. It was Tuolong from the star-horned beast clan, and he should also be one of the most famous geniuses recently. The star-horned beast family, Tuolong. Tuolong's face was a little ugly, and he said coldly. He is the #1 genius of the star-horned beast clan, and now he has a great record in the battlefield ruins. Yi Tian actually said he didn't know him. Tuolong, I don't know why you are looking for me. Yi Tian wondered. Let's learn from each other. Tuolong said. Other true monarchs say that you are very strong, and even killed the incarnation of Taoist ancestors, although I don't believe it, but you can become the first on the true monarch list. Your strength is definitely not weak. As for the true monarch list, Tuolong also knows that it is very fair, but the true monarch list does not represent everything. A person's combat power includes many aspects, such as his genius as a star-horned beast family, secret techniques and trump cards are too many. 293. I don't think the true monarch list can explain anything. I don't have time to learn from each other. Yi Tian refused immediately. There is no benefit for him to discuss with Tuolong at all. If Tuolong is severely damaged, the star-horned beast clan will come to him again, and the conflict will continue to escalate. If he was allowed to lose on purpose, he would not have done so. What, you don't want to learn from each other? Tuolong was dumbfounded. Their star-horned beasts are the most fighters, and they must participate in all discussions, and they have never refused to say it. But now, Yi Tian actually refused to discuss with him, which simply broke his cognition. You coward, you refuse to learn from each other. Tuolong said with contempt. Hey, it's not good for me to learn from you. Why should I learn from you? And I'm here to find opportunities, not to fight. Yi Tian said. Benefits. Tuolong's heart moved, and he said, if you beat me, I promise to give you a Taoist weapon. Tao artifact. Yi Tian sneered. If it was in the past, a Tao artifact was really worth a lot, even enough to cause Tao ancestor to fight, but now Tao artifact is really nothing, and he doesn't care at all. I have too many Taoist tools, and I don't lack Taoist tools. Yi Tian doesn't care about Tao. Only then did Tuolong understand that the current value is not the same as the previous value. A strong man like Yi Tian does not lack Taoist weapons at all, and it is estimated that he does not lack any inheritance and resources. Well, if you win, how about I give you a reincarnation seed? Tuolong rode. Seeds of reincarnation, are you sure? Yi Tian was shocked. The seeds of reincarnation are not ordinary treasures. The value in the past was enough to be equivalent to a Taoist tool, but in today's era of Taoist tools, a Taoist tool will definitely not be able to exchange for a reincarnation seed, and even dozens of Taoist tools are also exchanged. Not a single seed of reincarnation. Reincarnation seeds are a kind of treasure that can make people reincarnate. For example, if a true monarch lacks the foundation, if you want to reincarnate, you can refine reincarnation seeds and reincarnate in another life. However, the seeds of reincarnation have limitations, that is, it is impossible to confirm the talent after reincarnation, and it is possible to reincarnate into an ordinary person with ordinary talent. Even if a strong person finds the reincarnation body, and then improves his talent, but some potential talents are difficult fundamentally improved. For example, basic comprehension, although this aspect can also be improved, but there is a limitation, such as combat talent, which is sometimes an instinct or potential. Another example is will, the potential in the dark and so on. But even so, the seeds of reincarnation are extremely rare, and they were bought away by Taoist ancestors almost as soon as they were born. Yi Tian had heard of reincarnation seeds before, but couldn't buy them, and Zhu Shen's lineage didn't have reincarnation CJFI seeds either. Okay, I promise. Yi Tian nodded. He needs the seeds of reincarnation very much, because his wife Xiao Yu's foundation is too poor, but he couldn't help it at the beginning. Although he gave his wife talents at the beginning, these acquired talents cannot really change her basic understanding, and it is difficult to improve her will and potential. Coupled with the lack of resources at the beginning, Xiao Yu did not accumulate at the level of the gods, and he did not take the road of detachment at the beginning. Therefore, Xiao Yu's future is at most a weak true ancestor, but there is no hope in the way of Tao ancestor. The reincarnation seed is a hope to change his wife, and he wants it very much. Okay, then let's go over there and discuss. Tuolong Road. Woohoo! Yi Tian and Tuolong flew far away, and some true monarchs and Taoist incarnations were also more curious, and they went away to observe the battle. In the battle with Tuolong, Yi Tian did not use the phantom of the heavenly splitting god pillar, otherwise Tuolong could be easily killed with a single blow. But even if he didn't use the heaven-splitting god pillar Zhu Shen, Yi Tian's strength was incomparably powerful. Facing Yi Tian, the legendary enchanting arrogant Tianzhao, Tuolong didn't care about it, and turned into his main body, the star-horned beast. D3L. The huge star-horned beast exudes a terrifying aura, its huge mouth opens, and a terrifying light of destruction kills Yi Tian. This is impressively an original supernatural power, the light of star extinction. However, Yi Tian used the Blood River avatar to shake the air, shattering Tuolong's attack, and the air-shaking vibration affected Tuolong, causing his body to crack. Then, Yi Tian used the yin and yang bipolar sword, and slashed towards Tuolong with one blow. Puff! Tuolong kept coughing up blood, like a river of blood falling from the sky. Impossible! Tuolong was shocked. Every piece of his life-saving device was activated, and even the amazing top defensive half-Dao weapon could not withstand Yi Tian's attack, and was directly pierced. The strengths of the two sides are not at the same level at all, as if they are vastly different. Are you admitting defeat? Yi Tian asked. Tuolong didn't want to know him at first, but the injuries erupted layer by layer, and he didn't have the strength to fight anymore. Admit defeat, Tuolong said helplessly. Immediately, he threw a box to Yi Tian and left here with the support of two half-step true ancestors. The battle between Yi Tian and Tuolong also made people see the power of Yi Tian. The true monarchs of the Forbidden Temple in Daoshan saw Yi Tian's terrifying strength, and their original thoughts of challenging Yi Tian also dissipated immediately. At this time, the incarnations of Taoist ancestors all attacked the ruins of the headquarters of the Sunset Sect, and a large number of other true monarchs also poured into the Sunset Sect. Chapter 1009 The True Ancestor Arrives. Sunset Sect Ruins. A famous Taoist incarnation and true monarchs poured in here, attacking a killing formation. In the past, the formations Yi Tian encountered were large formations that no one could control, the threat was reduced by more than 10 times, and the formations were rigid, not too big a threat at all. But now, the great formation of the Sunset Sect is controlled by someone, and the power of this great formation is so strong that a single Taoist incarnation cannot compete with this great formation. But many Taoist incarnations and hundreds of millions of true monarchs attacked the great formation in unison, and soon destroyed this great formation. However, the ruins of the Sunset Sect are too big, and the formations here are endless and varied. No matter how strong the incarnations of Daozu are, it is difficult to break all formations for a while. Yi Tian followed the army and entered the Sunset Sect. The scale of the Sunset Sect is far superior to that of the Splitting Heaven Sect. From the size of the sect, it can be seen that the strength of the Sunset Sect is far superior to that of the Splitting Heaven Sect. After all, one is the third-level power, and the other is the fourth-level power. It seems that there is only a first-level difference, but it is a huge gap between the lower third level and the middle level 3. As the great formations of the Sunset Sect were breached, many buildings were visited by countless powerhouses, and the treasures and resources inside were plundered one by one. Although there was a small friction among the true monarchs during this period, it was because there were too many true monarchs here. There are even a large number of Taoist incarnations present, so it is not easy to really fight, otherwise once the battle fluctuates to the Taoist incarnation, it is courting death. However, the Sunset Sect is full of dangers. Some secret killing formations are hidden in halls and attics. The true monarchs do not know the situation. Therefore, many true monarchs fell and died one by one, but more true monarchs gained a lot. Just as the major powerhouses were advancing the Sunset Sect step by step, in a hidden space in the depths of the Sunset Sect, consciousnesses were communicating with each other. Damn, this group of greedy practitioners from other realms actually invaded our Sunset Sect. If it weren't for the fact that we fell into this unfamiliar realm with the fragments of the realm, one by one fell into a deep sleep, and we didn't have time to arrange means, or just arrange our Sunset Sect, just because these people don't even want to enter our sunset. One step. What should we do? We are hiding here. Even if they annihilate the Sunset Sect, they will not be able to find our sleeping place, but the Sunset Sect is our hard work and must not be destroyed by them. But we are only initially awakening our consciousness, the body is still sleeping, and even if we wake up now, there is no way to go out. The origin of the Chaos Dao is protected from the Dao realm, unless we destroy the quasi-Dao realm outside, but if it is inside, no matter how strong we are, we can't violate the rules of the origin of Chaos Dao. Once we are forcibly born, under the backlash, even Dao ancestor will fall or be severely injured. We can't be born, but the words of the true ancestors can persist for a while, so let's force some true ancestors to wake up. They barely survive under our protection, it's time for them to serve. You're crazy. In this way, those true ancestor disciples may not survive, and they will all be killed. The true ancestor disciples who can survive are all geniuses, and they can be trained well, and it will not be difficult to become a true ancestor in the future. Don't forget, most of the true ancestors' origins were severely damaged when they passed through the dark forbidden area. We can save their lives, but it is difficult to protect their origins. Today, their origins are severely damaged and they need to pay a lot of money. It takes a big price to repair their origins. In this case, it is better to let them play their due role. HMPH, if you want to forcibly wake up, it's up to you, I won't do it. When the sect master wakes up in the future, he will definitely reprimand you for your actions. If I protect the Sunset Sect, the sect master will only praise me, and will not reprimand me. The incarnations of Taoist ancestors and countless true monarchs did not know that the Taoist ancestors of the Sunset Sect and a large number of disciples of the true ancestors were sleeping in a mysterious space of the Sunset Sect, otherwise they would not dare to invade here. It seems a little uneasy. Could it be dangerous? Yi Tian frowned. He didn't rush to the front, but kept swaying in the back. Although the Sunset Sect is a fourth layered power, his harvest is not much, because there are too many true monarchs rushing in. With so many true monarchs sharing, he will naturally not gain too many benefits. The real treasure must be in the core area of the Sunset Sect. Once an amazing treasure really appears, the Taoist incarnations will definitely fight. For flowers, the incarnations of the Taoist ancestors who came this time are not simple, there are even 3 incarnations of the Taoist ancestors. Yi Tian considered himself to be very strong, but at most he dared to fight 1 or 2 incarnations of the second-level Taoist ancestor, but did not dare to provoke the third-level Taoist incarnation. What's more, on such an occasion, the incarnation of the 4th heavenly Tao ancestor may come at any time. Sudden, the setting sun is empty and oscillating, and a suppressed aura permeates the entire setting sun sect. What happened? Tu Along was slightly surprised. 2 half-step true ancestor guards protected it. Yi Tian was also extremely dignified, and made plans to retreat at any time. Boom! The void split open, and a figure came out. When this person appeared, one after another golden chains appeared out of thin air, locked on this person's body, constantly suppressing the other party, and even this world was struggling to suppress the other party. True ancestor. Everyone felt the breath of this man, and they were all surprised. This is the first true ancestor on the battlefield ruins, and it can even be said to be the first true ancestor of the Quandao world. After all, even the incarnation of Taoist ancestors is only a half-step true ancestor from the perspective of cultivation, and has not reached the level of true ancestors. The true ancestor dares to forcibly come to the ruins of the battlefield. Is this courting death? During this period, the true ancestor forcibly descended, and the backlash of the source was enough to kill him. There is a Taoist incarnation who doubts the Tao. No, he is not the true ancestor of our realm, he is the true ancestor of the Sunset Sect. You look at his clothes, that is the true disciple of the Sunset Sect. A Taoist avatar said in shock. What? The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect? There are people alive in the domain fragment. Countless true monarchs are incomparable, I can't believe it. You dare to invade the Sunset Sect and force me to forcibly wake up, you are courting death. The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect was extremely angry. The source is backlashing, the source chain is suppressing him at the moment, and he will die if he insists on it for at most 1 hour. Originally, he could survive as long as he passed this period of time, but now it was all in vain. Although it was the Taoist ancestors of the Sunset Sect who forcibly awakened him, he did not dare to resent the Taoist ancestors of the Sunset Sect, and could only vent all his anger on these otherworldly practitioners. Chapter 10:10 Falling down one after another. A true ancestor of the early stage of the Great Tao, dare to be so mad. A Taoist incarnation said coldly. In his eyes, the true ancestors of the general Tao early stage are undoubtedly ants, not to mention that this true ancestor was suppressed by the heavens and the earth, and the source backlash. Even if he tried his best, his combat power was definitely not half of the peak. If he wants such a true ancestor, he can easily kill him in seconds. Immediately, he shot. However, other Taoist incarnations and a large number of true monarchs did not do anything, quietly watching the battle. Seeing a Taoist incarnation rushing, the true ancestor sneered. The Taoist incarnation, the breath is so weak. At first glance, it is the first-level Taoist ancestor, and it is the weakest first-level Taoist. I haven't seen such a weak Taoist for a long time. These words completely stimulated the Taoist ancestor, and his killing intent immediately boiled over. But suddenly, a shocking scene happened. I saw that the true ancestor's hands were turned into black, and he directly broke the original divine power of the Taoist, 293, incarnation. A Taoist incarnation was instantly killed. Too weak. The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect said lightly. This, quote, many true monarchs were shocked. This true ancestor was too powerful. In particular, some true monarchs once killed true ancestors, but the true ancestors they killed in the past were not at the same level as this true ancestor, and the gap between the two sides was too great. As if those true ancestors were only defective products, this is the real true ancestor. None of the practitioners who entered the Sunset Sect today don't even want to leave. The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect roared. Immediately, a true ancestor named Sunset Sect appeared in the tearing space, surrounded the huge Sunset Sect, and the true ancestor's breath locked countless true monarchs. 30 true ancestors. Yi Tian noticed the number of these true ancestors, and his face was a little dignified. These true ancestors are not weak true ancestors, but true genius true ancestors. I am afraid that even the true monarchs who are at the top of the true monarch list will not be the opponents of these true ancestors after they enter the true ancestor realm. Each of these true ancestors has mastered multiple origin divine ability, and they are not ordinary origin divine ability. Even Yi Tian is not sure of defeating any true ancestor, at most he can barely save his life. At this moment, Yi Tian truly realized the power of the real ancestor of the realm, which is far from being comparable to the real ancestor of the realm. Of course, if he is promoted to the real ancestor realm, he can easily slaughter the real ancestors of these realms, and he does not even need to be promoted to the real ancestor realm. He only needs to practice the 8th and 9th poles of the 9-pole real body art to form a pole body. He can easily suppress these true ancestors. Kill. The true ancestors of the Sunset Sect had limited time and could not survive for too long, so they cast forbidden techniques one by one. Their strength skyrocketed again, and they immediately killed countless true monarchs. They don't like to kill Daozu incarnations very much, because they know that these people are Daozu incarnations, and killing them is only to destroy an incarnation, and can't kill a Daozu at all. In this case, it is better to kill the true monarchs. This is enough to offset the anger of the Sunset Sect. The screams came one after another, and there was a miserable scene in the Sunset Sect. A large number of true monarchs were slaughtered, and even the true monarchs of the 4 transcendental forces had fallen. For example, in the star-horned beast family, one of Tuolong's half-step true ancestors' guards escaped to protect Tuolong, and was pinched to death by a true ancestor of the Sunset Sect. Originally, Tuolong was injured by Yi Tian and left here, but he didn't want to give up the treasures and resources of the Sunset Sect. After recovering the injury with the healing medicine, he came in again. But I never imagined that when I first entered the Sunset Sect, I encountered such a thing. It was really unfortunate. Almost every second, more than 10,000 true monarchs fell, and even a Taoist incarnation was killed. Out of bounds. A group of Taoist ancestors were extremely angry, their incarnations fell, and there was no way for them to come to the realm of Taoism in a short time, and the loss was too great. The 4 detached forces were stationed, and the Taoist ancestors also looked at the battlefield ruins. Although they couldn't see the situation of the battlefield ruins, the incarnation of the Taoist ancestors was killed, and the information was naturally brought out. At this time, the 4 transcendental forces cannot be calm. After all, the true monarchs and half-step true ancestors of the 4 transcendental forces are among them, especially the Taoist ancestors of the Forbidden Temple in Daoshan, which are even more nervous. There are relatively few true monarchs in Daoshan and Forbidden Palace, because their requirements for accepting disciples are too high, and it is more distressing for a disciple to fall. The star-horned beasts were also more panicked, for fear that Tuolong would fall in the Sunset Sect. I'm ready to incarnate to the battlefield ruins of the Kwandao world. Ancestor Luo Hai said solemnly. Boom! The great ancestor Luo Hai peeled off some of the flesh and blood from his body, condensed into an incarnation, and immediately tore the barriers of the Taoist realm and descended directly to the ruins of the battlefield. Battlefield ruins. The great ancestor Luo Hai came, and his powerful aura far surpassed that of other Tao ancestor incarnations. It's the great ancestor Luo Hai. Tuolong is ecstatic. The great ancestor Luo Hai is the top 3rd-level heavenly Tao ancestor, whose strength far exceeds the average 3rd-level heavenly Tao ancestor. Even if the clone comes, his strength is very powerful, and he can easily destroy the incarnation of a 1st-level heavenly Tao ancestor. After the great ancestor Luo Hai came, he did not directly confront the true ancestor of the Sunset Sect, but instead looked for the trace of Tuolong. Soon, he found Tuolong and flew over quickly. Tuolong, hurry up and get out of here. Ancestor Luo Hai said coldly. Yes, Torin nodded. He also wanted to leave the Sunset Sect, but because 30 true ancestors of the Sunset Sect surrounded the Sunset Sect and blocked the exit, he did not dare to force his way, otherwise he would fall instantly. But with the blessing of ancestor Luo Hai, he has the hope of escaping. Boom! The great ancestor Luo Hai rushed towards the exit, protecting Tuolong and several other true monarchs and half-step true ancestors. Soon, a true ancestor of the Sunset Sect noticed the great ancestor Luo Hai. 3-layer Tiandaozu incarnation, stay here. The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect said coldly. Then, the true ancestor blasted over with a big sun. The great ancestor Luo Hai turned into an ocean and confronted it, but all the seawater was instantly annihilated, and even his triple heavenly Tao ancestor incarnation was cracked open. How can it be so powerful? Ancestor Luo Hai was shocked. He had previously heard that the Taoist ancestors of 5.8 said that the true ancestors of the Sunset Sect were very strong, but he just thought that the true ancestors were making excuses for the fall of his incarnation and deliberately boasted about the true ancestors of the Sunset Sect. But now I know that those Taoist ancestors did not brag at all. The true ancestors of the Sunset Sect are really strong and powerful. The most enchanting group of the true ancestors of the Star-Horned Beast clan at the beginning of the Great Tao may have such strength, and they must be the true ancestors who stayed in the beginning of the Great Tao for a long time, the true ancestors who have just broken through. It is far inferior to these true ancestors of the Sunset Sect. Boom! Under the repeated attacks, Luo Hai's grandfather couldn't bear it anymore, but he still tried his best to protect Tuolong, but he failed to protect the other several star-horned beasts. After the great ancestor Luo Hai was severely injured, they finally broke out of the encirclement, left the Sunset Sect, and returned to the outside world. I escaped a few, I can't care anymore, kill the rest first. The true ancestors of the Sunset Sect did not go after the great ancestor Luo Hai, but continued to attack other true monarchs. Chapter 10-11 Resist the attack with the cold jade coffin. Sunset Sect. A large number of true monarchs fell, this piece of land was almost soaked in blood, and the sky was also full of endless killing aura. Everyone is afraid, after all, no one wants to die, and there are too many true monarchs who died this time. Any true monarch placed in chaos can dominate a chaotic continent, or even a variety of chaotic continents. In the eyes of countless creatures in chaos, the true monarch is undoubtedly a real big man. For example, the Tibetan God organization that created the fusion of the two universes, its top leader is only a true monarch, and it is still a relatively ordinary true monarch. But now, the true monarchs here do not know how many have fallen. A certain area of Loyang sect. Thousands of true monarchs of the Zushan temple hug each other, but no matter how many they are like ants in the eyes of the true monarch of the Sunset Sect, and they are useless at all. They are still alive now, and it is completely because the true ancestors of the Sunset Sect did not kill them here, otherwise a single blow would be enough to completely obliterate them. True Lord Chengguang, what should we do? The other true monarchs in the Hall of Void Heaven looked at true monarch Chengguang. Chengguang Zhenjin is the most powerful one of them. Before the four transcendent forces did not enter the quasi-Dao realm, he was also ranked in the top 50 of the real emperor list, and his strength increased rapidly. It is a pity that the luck is a little worse, and he has not been promoted to the half-step true ancestor, but he is still far ahead of other true monarchs. The other true monarchs had no idea at all, and could only look forward to true monarch Yu Chengguang. However, true monarch Chengguang was also pale, and he couldn't do anything at all. At this moment, even if his spiritual light is infinite, he instantly realizes the avenue, condenses a complete avenue, and then promotes to the half-step true ancestor. There is no way to escape. In his knowledge, no matter how powerful the half-step true ancestor is, he is not the opponent of these sunset sect true ancestors, unless countless half-step true ancestors surround and kill these sunset sect true ancestors. But this is not realistic at all. Boom! A true ancestor of the sunset sect suddenly came to true monarch Chengguang and the others, and the unimaginable power of the true ancestor descended, and just the breath made it difficult for these true monarchs in the hall of void heaven to move. The true ancestor of the sunset sect didn't look at true monarch Chengguang and the others at all, but only took a picture of it with a giant palm of the blazing sun. Perhaps in the eyes of the true ancestor of the sunset sect, true monarch Chengguang and the others are undoubtedly ants, and they can be shot to death at will, without paying much attention. But just after the giant palm of the fierce sun came, a blade of light shattered the giant palm of the fierce sun. I saw a figure appearing above the heads of Chengguang, Zhenjin and others. Looking at this figure, Zhenjin Chengguang immediately respectfully said, "Thank you Wanfa Daozi." A famous true monarch shouted Wanfa Daozi and was grateful again and again. They were very surprised that Yi Tian came to rescue them at this time. Moreover, Yi Tian actually blocked the attack of the true ancestor of the sunset sect, which was simply unbelievable. "Don't resist." Yi Tian sent a voice transmission to true monarch Chengguang and the others. Immediately, the black wind domain boundary technique swiped, and directly took Chengguang, Zhenjin and others into the universe within the body. Yi Tian also happened to see Chengguang, Zhenjin and others. He was also a member of the Zushan temple. If he could save him, he would naturally save him. "Hey, a true monarch actually blocked my blow. You are definitely the most evil true monarch in this realm, then killing you is more cost-effective than killing 1,000,000 true monarchs. To have a true monarch like you and I will be buried together, and I will not die in vain." The true ancestor of the sunset sect laughed loudly. He hates true geniuses. Although he is also very strong in the sunset sect, he is the leader among the true disciples. Otherwise, he would not have been saved by the Taoist ancestors and lived in this realm. But this time, the genius of the setting sun sect's true evil spirits, or the direct disciples of the four-level heavenly ancestors, were not awakened. Therefore, he is not convinced. The middle, late, and peak true ancestors of the sunset sect can't be born at the moment, they don't mind, but the true ancestors who are still sleeping in the early days of the road are far more than 30 of them. Why? They must wake up and sacrifice. It's not because their talent is not as good as other true ancestors, so he hates geniuses like Yi Tian, and Yi Tian's talent is probably far more than the strongest genius of their sunset sect. Killing such geniuses, he will be very happy in his heart. Die. Anode sword. A sword of origin, which was completely condensed by the power of the true ancestor and the rules of the Great Way of Yang, attacked Yi Tian with terrifying might. This is a high-grade source divine ability created by this true ancestor, and its power is extremely powerful. If it is used by his true ancestor, it can almost show the full power of this source divine ability. Facing the anode sword, Yi Tian was unprecedentedly dignified. Compared with this true ancestor, the incarnations of the Tao ancestors he encountered before were undoubtedly ants, and they were simply too weak. The real body of the blood river. 3 elements in one, incarnating physical power. Black wind territory technique. Every method was displayed by Yi Tian, and every piece of defensive half-Tao weapon was also inspired by Yi Tian. Puff. Under the anode sword, Yi Tian's defense method was pierced, and his body was also pierced. This time, Yi Tian was injured. Escape. Yi Tian used the time-space teleportation technique to shuttle continuously, but in the sunset sect, the shuttle distance was too short. Just because you want to go, die for me. The true ancestor of the sunset sect went crazy and used a strange item of his own. This strange object is a small sword. It was originally a piece of wood. It was made into this small sword by the Taoist ancestor of the sect. It contains the power of the Taoist ancestor. With his strength, a blow can explode nearly 10 times the attack force. His anode sword just hurt Yi Tian, and the strange object's full-strength blow is enough to kill Yi Tian. Far away, Yi Tian trembled all over, as if he felt the real horror. The breath of death completely enveloped him. He noticed that the true ancestor took out a strange object. This strange object gave him a feeling that once he was hit by this strange object, he would definitely die, and any life-saving treasure was useless. In the past, he also obtained a lot of life-saving treasures that replaced death, completely defended, and weakened attacks, but he felt that these treasures could not stop this small sword. In the face of real power, some life-saving things are completely useless. I saw that the true ancestor inspired the little sword, and the little sword turned into a sword of death and stabbed Yi Tian. This moment, Yi Tian did not use any means to save his life, but took out a jade coffin, which was a cold jade coffin that he had obtained in a secret room when he had entered the palace with the goddess Yunzi. The material of this cold jade coffin is peculiar. Even though he is many times stronger now, he cannot help the cold jade coffin. According to his speculation, non-Dao ancestors could not do anything about this cold jade coffin. And no matter how powerful the true ancestor of the Sunset Sect is, he will never be able to break the cold jade coffin. The sword of death stabbed, Yi Tian put the cold jade coffin in front of him. Boom! The sword of death hit the cold jade coffin, and the terrifying impact force directly sent Yi Tian flying out. If he didn't hold the cold jade coffin tightly, I am afraid that even the cold jade coffin would not know where the impact went. Survived. Yi Tian knelt down in the void, and his body was split open. This was shaken by a terrifying shock. Although he was very embarrassed, his injuries were not serious. Just at such a price to block the small sword strange object, it can be seen how powerful the cold jade coffin is. If the previous owner of the cold jade coffin knew that Yi Tian used the cold jade coffin to resist the attack, he would probably be so angry that he would kill Yi Tian. Chapter 10-12 The Battle of the Sunset Sect is over. Walk. Yi Tian put away the cold jade coffin and quickly escaped from here. And after the impact just now, he was not very far from the exit. He also has a certain understanding of the strength of these true ancestors of the Sunset Sect. If they really fight, he is not an opponent, but these true ancestors cannot kill him in one blow. And like the strange object attack just now, he expected that the true ancestor would only have one attack. If he could use it again, he would have to use the Hanyu coffin to resist it again. Unless it is a terrifying blow from the soul strange thing, he will not be able to resist. But he didn't believe he would be so unlucky. Moreover, he was about to escape, and even if the true ancestors wanted to kill him, it was too late. How could it be blocked? The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect was stunned. Under the blow of his strange little sword, absolutely no one under the true ancestor can stop it, and even if it is resisted with a sturdy object, the energy attack is enough to annihilate the enemy. But the cold jade coffin that Yi Tian just used not only blocked the strange object's small sword blow, but also offset most of the energy, so the impact force did not shock Yi Tian to death. Otherwise, Yi Tian would still die. Damn, what kind of treasure is that cold jade coffin? It can actually block my strange little sword. The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect was very unwilling. He only has one such treasure. He is not distressed about the treasure. Anyway, he is about to die. What is the use of the treasure? He is just unwilling to kill Yi Tian. Hurry up and stop that true monarch. The true ancestor of the Sunset Sect passed on to other true ancestors. Immediately, the two true ancestors of the Sunset Sect not far from the entrance tried to stop Yi Tian, but this time they didn't use the strange object attack. Yi Tian rushed out at the cost of injury. At the same time, the other Taoist incarnations also fled one by one, attracting a lot of firepower, which allowed Yi Tian to escape easily. Otherwise, if three Taoist ancestors intercepted, Yi Tian would not be able to escape. Yi Tian rushed out of the Sunset Sect, but did not flee away immediately, but instead accelerated time to heal nearby. Inside Sunset, under the resistance of a large number of true monarchs and Taoist incarnations, some true ancestors could not bear it before an hour passed. Boom! Under the desperate efforts of the three Taoist incarnations, one of the true ancestors of the Sunset Sect was blown up and turned into a blood mist. With the fall of the first true ancestor, the other true ancestors also fell one by one. At this time, the chance of escaping is even greater. A true monarch escaped from here and did not look back, but chose to stay away from here. From their point of view, the Sunset Sect is definitely a place of great terror. No matter how many opportunities they have, they will not dare to enter. When Yi Tian was healing, Chengguang Zhenjin and others were also released by Yi Tian. They also didn't want to stay here, and after thanking Yi Tian, they left here quickly. Soon, the battle went on for an hour. At this time, the remaining few true ancestors of the Sunset Sect fell and died one by one under the backlash of the Source and the suppression of heaven and earth, turning into corpses one by one. In this battle, the Sunset Sect did not know how many true monarchs had fallen, and there were corpses everywhere. It can be said that the real treasures and opportunities here no longer belong to the Sunset Sect, but belong to the corpses of these true monarchs. Every true monarch has a lot of money, and so many corpses of true monarchs can imagine how valuable it is. Call out! A figure suddenly rushed in from the outside world. It was Yi Tian who had just finished healing. Receive, receive, receive. Yi Tian used the Black Wind Territory technique to continuously collect the corpses of true monarchs and incorporated them into the universe within his body. The speed of collection was even much faster than the incarnation of Taoist ancestors. Those surviving Taoist incarnations were extremely angry when they saw Yi Tian's behavior, but now is not the time to fight. The battle was delayed for a while, and the treasure was taken away by others. Therefore, everyone joined the ranks of collecting corpses. Gradually, more people joined the looting of corpses. Half an hour passed. Yi Tian collected a lot of true monarch corpses, and even grabbed the corpse of a true ancestor of the Sunset Sect, and left here in a hurry. This is indeed not a place to stay for a long time. If the Sunset Sect sends some true ancestors, it is not a good thing. In the past, there were countless true monarchs to attract firepower, but now there is no true monarch to attract firepower. Once a true ancestor comes out, he may not be able to escape. Moreover, if the incarnations of the third-level Tiandao ancestors shot against him, it would be very bad. At present, he really can't beat the incarnation of the third-level Taoist ancestor. If the incarnation of the fourth-level Taoist ancestor shoots at him, he may completely stop. So, Yi Tian accepted it when he saw it. Not long after Yi Tian left, those Taoist incarnations had basically finished collecting all the true monarch corpses. Seeing that Yi Tian was no longer there, they put out the plan to trouble Yi Tian. Let's go, we can't continue to destroy the Sunset Sect. The 30 true ancestors should be a warning to us from the senior leaders of the Sunset Sect. If we continue to crack the Great Formation in the core area of the Sunset Sect, I am afraid that the Sunset Sect will stop at all costs. Destroy us. The remaining Taoist incarnations thought. Then, an incarnation of a famous Taoist ancestor and the true monarchs left the Sunset Sect. Soon after, the entrance to the Sunset Sect slowly healed and disappeared. Of course, the Taoist ancestors were still able to break the passage, but no one dared to do so. Sunset Sect, mysterious space. The voices of the ancestors of the Sunset Sect resounded again. Those who have left, the Sunset Sect is considered a true son. There's no need to feel sorry, those 30 true ancestor disciples were damaged when they came to the source, and if they were able to keep the Sunset Sect, they could be regarded as worthwhile sacrifices. Hey, the power of this realm has caused our Sunset Sect to suffer heavy losses. When we are born in the future, we must find our place and kill a bloody chaos void. Our Sunset Sect is only a fourth-layered power, and we should focus on preserving our strength. In this unknown realm, no one knows what the future will be like, don't be so reckless. Gradually, these Taoist ancestors fell silent, no longer discussing, and this trace of consciousness fell asleep again. Somewhere on the battlefield, Yi Tian came to tear the space and saw that there was no one around. He was relieved immediately. It's a big gain this time, it's literally bigger than ever. 1. Yi Tian excited Daomen. Immediately, he entered the small realm again and began to slowly organize the harvest. Chapter 10-13 Trading with Chaos Firm. A large number of Tao artifacts, half-Tao artifacts, divine crystals, chaotic stones, various precious materials, medicinal pills, inheritance scrolls. In short, there are so many that it is almost impossible to count. My net worth instantly became dozens of times richer. Yi Tian exclaimed. So many treasures and resources are enough for him to cultivate to the middle or even late stage of the Tao. If he trades out all the Tao tools and inheritance, it will even be enough for him to cultivate to the extreme of the Tao. If it is cultivated for others, it is enough to cultivate to the realm of Taoist ancestors, but Yi Tian is different, his foundation is too strong, and the same level is far superior to others, so the resources consumed are many times that of others. But even if he consumes more resources, these resources are enough for him to practice. This is because of inflation. After all, the Taoist tools are flooded, and the value is much lower. Otherwise, if the value of the previous Taoist tools is used as the standard, then so many resources are enough for Yi Tian to cultivate to the level of the virtual heaven Taoist ancestor, and even more than that. The value of Tao artifacts will definitely depreciate in the future. After returning, all Tao artifacts and half-Tao artifacts will be traded to Chaos Firm. Yi Tian planned. After all, with so many treasures in his hands, if the value keeps depreciating, he will lose a lot of wealth every moment. At this moment, Yi Tian was thinking about whether to stay in the 310 battlefield ruins. Judging from the current situation, most areas of the battlefield ruins have been explored, and some dojos and sect ruins have not been fully developed, but it will not be long. In addition, the battlefield relics may also have the same relics of the middle third heaven forces as the Sunset Sect, But such relics are very dangerous, and it is very likely that they will encounter the sleeping true ancestors of the middle third heaven forces. Therefore, the value of the entire battlefield ruins is not very high now. After experiencing the last incident where countless true monarchs were slaughtered by the true ancestors of the Sunset Sect, I am afraid that many true monarchs and even half-step true ancestors are unwilling to stay in the battlefield ruins and are ready to return to the Kwandao world. Let's go back. I have no shortage of resources and treasures for the time being, and the ruins of the battlefield are of no benefit at all. It would be a waste of time to stay here. Let's leave some treasures and opportunities for other true monarchs and the quasi-Dao heavenly monarchs. Yi Tian thought so. So, after he left the small realm, he came to the exit of the battlefield ruins, and returned to the real country of the god of war from the exit. After that, Yi Tian came to the giant city of Ape. The giant city of heavenly apes also has a branch of chaos firm, CJFI. Yi Tian came to the branch of chaos business firm in the giant city of heavenly apes, and a true monarch entertained Yi Tian. When Yi Tian said that he had a large number of Dao artifacts, half-Dao artifacts, and various rare materials to trade, he soon dispatched 10 half-step true ancestors from the Chaos Merchant Nation controlled by the Chaos Firm. In the past, there were at most only a few half-step true ancestors in Chaos Firms, but now with countless opportunities in the battlefield ruins, the number of half-step true ancestors of the major forces has increased. It can be seen from the fact that the Chaos Trading Company dispatched 10 half-step true ancestors at random. The number of half-step true ancestors in the Chaos Trading Company is definitely quite large. Although it will not exceed 100, there are definitely dozens of them. But this time Yi Tian's transaction volume was too large, even one half-step true ancestor could not complete the transaction, so only 10 half-step true ancestors were dispatched. Of course, the Chaos Firm is only trading according to the rules, but they dare not rob Yi Tian. They have also heard of Yi Tian's combat power, which is stronger than the incarnation of the ordinary first-level Taoist ancestors, and they have killed several incarnations of the first-level Taoist ancestors. No matter how strong they were, they would not dare to rob Yi Tian, otherwise they would be courting death. Chaos Business Branch, a huge secret trading hall. The 10 half-step true ancestors of the Chaos Firm traded here with Yi Tian, watching Yi Tian take out one after another Dao artifact and half-Dao artifact from the universe within the body, as well as a large number of unknown treasures, the number of which is very shocking. People. In the past, a Taoist tool alone would be enough to shake the Chaos Firm, and I am afraid that even the eyes of the Taoist ancestors would be attracted, but now the Taoist tool is really nothing. It is very easy to refine Taoist tools in the Divine Sky realm, resulting in too many Taoist tools in the domain. This time, even if only the battlefield ruins were born, a large number of Taoist tools appeared. Therefore, the value of the Taoist tool has fallen by an unknown number of times. But even so, the value of Taoist tools is still very fast, and generally true monarchs can't afford Taoist tools. Let's trade these first. I don't know if Chaos Firm can eat it. Yi Tian asked. The appraiser named Shishan Zhenjin hurriedly said with a smile. Don't worry Wanfa Daozi, our Chaos Trading Firm has strong financial resources, and this time, the major forces have taken out a lot of treasures to trade with our Chaos Trading Firm, so our Chaos Trading Firm my financial resources have increased countless times than before, enough to eat these treasures. I don't know what Wanfa Daozi wants to exchange for. Is it the points of our Chaos Firm, or is it exchanged for things? If it is settled with Dao coins, our Chaos Firm is afraid can't get so many Dao coins. I want to cultivate resources, whether it is the resources for refining the body, the resources for improving the divine power, or the resources for tempering the soul, I want them all. Yi Tian said. This, Shishan Zhenjin said, Wanfa Daozi, now everyone wants to exchange some unwanted treasures for cultivation resources, so the demand for cultivation resources is very tight, and our Chaos Trading Firm will definitely not be able to exchange all these treasures or replaced by resources. I suggest Wanfa Daozi to replace some of the treasures with resources and some of the treasures with some inheritance or Tian Dao stones. Heavenly Stone. Yi Tian also knows what this is. Strictly speaking, it is an upgraded version of Dao coin, which comes from the realm. The Heavenly Dao Stone is a kind of energy stone that can be condensed by the third-level Heavenly Dao ancestor. It contains extremely high energy and the power of the Dao, and even contains a hint of the third-level Heavenly Dao ancestor's perception. There are many Heavenly Path Stones in the battlefield ruins, and even Yi Tian has obtained many Heavenly Path Stones. In addition, the major forces and Yi Tian have also obtained the secret technique of condensing the Heavenly Dao Stone, which is a public secret technique in the domain, but without the strength of the third Heavenly Dao ancestor, there is no way to condense the Heavenly Dao Stone. Today, the major forces and the entire chaos vaguely regard the heavenly Tao stone as the currency of the true ancestor and Tao ancestor. The value of a heavenly Tao stone is equivalent to 1 billion Tao coins. Yi Tian agreed to use Tian Tao stone or inheritance as a transaction. Okay, let's estimate the treasure for Wanfa Daozi. True monarch Shishan said quickly. Immediately, the 10 half-step true ancestors began to sort out the treasures that Yi Tian took out, estimating them one by one. After about half a day, they finished their estimates. After that, the Chaos Trading Company started to operate, trading a large amount of resources to Yi Tian, and also brought hundreds of Chaos Divine Ability inheritances, various secret arts inheritances, and millions of heavenly Tao stones. This is the resource that Yi Tian traded from Chaos Firm. Chapter 1014 Xiao Yu and Hash 039, S Reincarnation. After coming out of the Chaos Business Branch, Yi Tian did not immediately retreat to practice, but returned to the real country of virtual innocence. Human race, Yi Tian's territory. After Yi Tian returned, he immediately sent some low-level inheritance and books to the Supreme Human Race Hall. The Supreme Human Race Hall has always been a place to cultivate human geniuses, so placing the classics here can cultivate more geniuses. In addition, Yi Tian also gave some unused low-level resources to the Human Race Supreme Hall. After that, Yi Tian called his wife Xiao Yu. At this time, Xiao Yu is already a true monarch in the late stage of true spirit, and is not a weak true monarch, but his strength is much weaker than those of the powerful true monarchs. Husband, you are back. Xiao Yu was very happy to see Yi Tian. Yi Tian has always been very busy, either wandering outside, or retreating and cultivating, and the couple spends very little time together. Therefore, every time Yi Tian came back, she cherished the time they spent together. Yuaa, I have a present for you. Yi Tian took out the reincarnation seed and handed it to Xiao Yu. What is this? Xiao Yu looked at the reincarnation seed in Yi Tian's palm very curiously. She could see that the reincarnation seed was not simple, it was not an ordinary thing. This is the seed of reincarnation. Yi Tian introduced. What is the use of reincarnation seeds? Xiao Yu asked again. Yi Tian smiled and said, the seeds of reincarnation can make a person reincarnate and reincarnate. Under normal circumstances, it is difficult for beings above the god level to be reincarnated, and the creatures in the chaos are even more difficult to reincarnate by Falun. To forcibly annihilate one's own soul and body into the baby's body, then it is not reincarnation but called squatting. This method of seizing cannot get rid of the influence of the predecessor at all, and it cannot be practiced again. For example, a true monarch like you, now the road has been fixed, and there is no way to retake it. But if you use the seeds of reincarnation to reincarnate, you can make up for your foundation, recultivation, and you will definitely become a real top genius. Coupled with my cultivation of you, you can definitely let you hope to become a Taoist ancestor. If I am reincarnated, will I lose my memory? If so, then I will not be reincarnated. Xiao Yu said, she didn't want to forget her husband because of reincarnation, it would be more uncomfortable than killing her. Don't worry, if you completely lose your memory, doesn't it mean that you have become another person, and that is the difference between suicide. In that case, who would use the seeds of reincarnation? Memory is the foundation of a person. Without memory, it is equivalent to suicide. It's another person, but at the time of the reincarnation, the memory will not wake up, because the baby's brain can't bear the memory of the real emperor. Therefore, memory will slowly recover after a few years old, and will not fully recover until adulthood. Yi Tian explained. Immediately, Yi Tian said again, Yuaa, the lifespan of the true monarch and the true ancestor is not eternity. Although one can live through a long universe, one day his lifespan will be exhausted. Only by becoming a Tao ancestor can it be truly eternal. If you are not controlled by the source of chaos Tao, that is the real detachment. Therefore, I hope you can reincarnate and create the strongest foundation. Okay, I'll rebuild. Xiao Yu nodded, her body burst out with the momentum of an empress. Once upon a time, when she and Yi Tian were still acquaintances, she was also a sect master, and she was considered a strong female emperor on earth, so she naturally had a stronger mind and determination. It's just that after marrying Yi Tian, she slowly became the woman behind Yi Tian, and the strong mind gradually faded away. In addition, she had seen too many evildoers, and naturally she no longer had the will to fight. But now that she has the opportunity to reincarnate and rebuild, she will naturally not slack off. Immediately, Yi Tian gave the seeds of reincarnation to Xiao Yu and asked her to refine the seeds of reincarnation. After Xiao Yu got the seeds of reincarnation, he started refining it, and it took a year for the refining to be successful. UAA, by urging the seeds of reincarnation, the true spirit of the soul can be reincarnated into human beings. With my strength and ability to calculate, coupled with the causal connection between us, I should be able to find you soon. Yi Tian exhorted. It is good. Xiao Yu began to motivate the seeds of reincarnation. Soon, boom, the power of the seeds of reincarnation erupted and turned into the gate of reincarnation, and Xiao Yu's body was gradually absorbed by the gate of reincarnation. Suddenly, Xiao Yu's figure disappeared, and a ray of true spirit reincarnated and disappeared. Reincarnation takes time, not instant reincarnation. Therefore, Yi Tian used the arithmetic of the great God and various calculations to deduce the existence of Xiao Yu. At the beginning, nothing could be deduced. After all, Xiao Yu had not been reincarnated. After 10 years, Yi Tian finally figured it out. UAA has been born successfully. With excitement, Yi Tian hurriedly traveled through the space and left. Human race, Tianfu continent. This is a relatively large starry sky continent of the human race, with countless human capitals on it. Tianyuan Empire, Zhenshan Mansion, Zanbaiho Mansion. Today, in Zanbaiho Mansion, Mrs. Zanbaiho is about to give birth to a daughter. I saw the starlight shining all over the sky, and the entire Zanbaiho was illuminated by endless divine light, which attracted the attention of countless almighty people. For a time, countless powerful gazes from Tianfu continent penetrated the space and descended on Zanbaiho Mansion. However, these earthly venerables, god generals, and the mighty powerhouses at the level of heavenly monarch could not observe anything. Power enveloped Zanbei Hufu. For flowers, what's going on? Zanbei Hufu was shocked. With the strength of his cosmic god, he was unable to move, and even everyone in the Hu residence was unable to move. Just then, a voice came. Today my wife was reincarnated on your Zanbaiho mansion, I need to take her away. To make up for you, I will leave some treasures for you. As soon as the voice fell, the divine light dissipated. I saw that the baby girl just born in Zanbaiho Mansion disappeared, but Zanbaiho Mansion had an extra world ring, which contained the resources and treasures of a world. Almighty, the real power of the human race. Zanbaiho looked at the countless resources in the world ring. He didn't know what level these resources could accumulate to, but they could definitely make him the top existence in Tianfu continent. 0. Master Hu, the little princess who was born by Mrs. is gone. A maid ran over, afraid to report. She thought that if such a big thing happened, Hu Yi would definitely kill her. But what I didn't expect was that Hu Yi laughed happily and said, okay, I understand, you go. Daughter, he doesn't care. He has lived for a long time as a universe god, and in order to build a huge family, he has many wives, and has given birth to many children, a mere daughter, and just gave birth to a daughter who has no feelings, he naturally doesn't care. It is very profitable to exchange so many resources for a daughter. Of course, he still has an idea in his heart. His daughter should be the reincarnation of a great female power, but it is a pity that he has not been able to draw a relationship, otherwise he will definitely get more benefits. However, he didn't dare to offend those great powers. Who knows what they think, it's better to take some benefits. Yi Tian brought back Xiao Yu's reincarnation and gave it to his younger sister Yi Yu to take care of. When Yi Yu learned that her sister-in-law had turned into a baby, she was very surprised, but she was not jealous. It was normal for her brother to get a treasure like a reincarnation seed for his sister-in-law. Although she also wants to become a Taoist ancestor, maybe her brother will become stronger in the future, and there will be other ways. In fact, Yi Tian did have another way to make Yi Yu become a Tao ancestor, that is, the heaven-shattering divine pillar, but the Tao ancestor created in this way would be controlled by the heaven-splitting divine pillar. Therefore, Yi Tian is unwilling to use this method to create a Taoist ancestor. Sister, I will send you to the great formation of time. In the next few years, you will guide your sister-in-law to practice, do you know? Yi Tian urged. It is good, Yi Yu responded quickly. Chapter 10:15 The 8th Pole of Juju True Body Art. Yi Tian directly arranged the time array in a small world, accelerating the time of the entire small world. Xiao Yu stayed in a small world, so she would not be bored, and could spend her childhood happily. Although Yi Tian asked Yi Yu to take care of Xiao Yu, he still often went to see Xiao Yu, and at the same time he kept a wisp of consciousness on Xiao Yu's body, which was also for the sake of safety. In this way, Xiao Yu is growing rapidly in the small world, coupled with sufficient resources, Xiao Yu's cultivation speed is very fast. In this life, UAA's cultivation talent is very high, and her soul potential and physical potential are also very high. Yi Tian muttered, But this kind of talent is not enough. He used the copy talent to give a lot of talent to Xiao Yu, making her talent almost reach the full talent level. If someone observes Xiao Yu's talent, they can see a series of super god level talents. 310. These super god level talents are all super god level talents that Yi Tian killed and deprived of a large number of powerhouses, and now they are all given to Xiao Yu. Years passed, Xiao Yu gradually grew up, and her memory of her previous life also recovered quickly. At the age of 18, Xiao Yu officially became a god-level powerhouse, and he was on the road of detachment. Originally, Yi Tian could make Xiao Yu grow faster, but her memory did not fully recover, and it would be bad if she accelerated her growth. Next, Yi Tian created a body refinement technique and a cultivation technique for Xiao Yu, so that she could continue to practice to a very high level. In order not to disturb Xiao Yu's practice, Yi Tian only saw Xiao Yu a few times, which made Xiao Yu very unhappy, but Yi Tian couldn't do anything about it. With the passage of time, Xiao Yu's growth rate became more and more amazing. Yi Tian even brought Xiao Yu into the Blood Soul Pond in the Haifeng Mountain ruins, allowing the Blood Soul Pond to transform Xiao Yu's body and soul, making his foundation and potential higher. In short, under the tempering of countless resources, Xiao Yu's foundation and potential have reached a terrifying level, and every realm has been beaten to the point where it can no longer be improved. In this way, Xiao Yu gradually became a Star River level, a universe god, a ruler, and an earth respecter. After Xiao Yu became a god general, Yi Tian did not care about Xiao Yu, but entered the real-time tower of the giant city of the ape, and entered it to start a long-term retreat. During this period of time, countless true monarchs and half-step true ancestors were practicing in retreat, consuming the harvest from the battlefield relics, and not many true monarchs came out for activities. Everyone is rapidly improving their strength, and Yi Tian naturally cannot fall behind. But no matter how other true monarchs improved their strength, the number one position on the true monarch list always belonged to Yi Tian, and no one could shake it. 100 years in the outside world have passed by, and Yi Tian has practiced in retreat for millions of years in the true pagoda of time. This time, with the help of countless resources, he finally cultivated the Juji true body art to the 8th degree in one fell swoop. Whether it is physical strength, divine power, or divine soul, he has ushered in a huge transformation, and his entire strength is stronger than before. Too much is too much. In the past, he could easily defeat or even kill the first-level Taoist incarnation, which was on a par with the top 2-level Taoist incarnation, but now at least he can easily defeat the 3rd-level Taoist incarnation, compete with the 4th-level Taoist incarnation, and is even hopeful. Defeat the incarnation of the 4th heavenly Tao ancestor. This is simply a huge transformation of strength. And this is only the 8th pole of the Juji true body art. If he cultivates to the highest level of the 9th pole, Yi Tian's strength will be improved to what extent? I am afraid that he can easily kill the true ancestor of the Sunset Sun sect. Let's go and see how UAA is. Yi Tian left the customs and returned to the Terran territory. After returning to the human race, Yi Tian discovered that Xiao Yu was already a 6-star god general, and became a 6-star god general for 100 years. Although he had the blessing of time and countless resources, the speed was faster. Yi Tian's goal is to make his wife become a 10-star god general, and then become a detached person, and then be promoted to the realm of destiny. In this case, Xiao Yu can definitely become the top genius in this chaotic realm, and he will definitely become a Taoist ancestor in the future. Yi Tian is not worried at all about whether Xiao Yu can become a 10-star god general. After all, Xiao Yu possesses innate talents that are unmatched except him plus the body refining technique he created specially for Xiao Yu. The technique was almost born out of the Juji true body art, but it was slightly changed according to Xiao Yu's physique. This time back, Yi Tian accompanied Xiao Yu for a year, and by the way guided Xiao Yu's cultivation. After that, Yi Tian left again. This time, he plans to cultivate the Juji true body art to the highest 9th pole, and after forming the body of the extreme way, he will come back out. When Yi Tian retreated, there were hardly any powerful true monarchs outside the battlefield, but many true monarchs practiced in some sect relics with the help of the treasures of those sect relics. Those Taoist incarnations are also almost practicing in the Zongmen ruins or other ruins, and they hardly care about other things. As a result, countless heavenly monarchs poured into the battlefield ruins, looking for so-called opportunities. Of course, the treasures of the battlefield ruins were almost wiped out, but the things that the true monarchs despised are good things in the eyes of the heavenly monarchs, so entering the battlefield ruins can also be a big gain, but it will take some time. In addition, there must be great opportunities left in the battlefield ruins. As long as you are lucky, Tianjin can also get great benefits, and it will not be difficult to become a true monarch or a true ancestor in the future. Century, millennium, 10,000 years. The quasi-Dao world is developing faster and faster, the number of true monarchs is increasing, and the number of half-step true ancestors is also increasing, and even some half-step true ancestors have reached the pinnacle, and the fusion of soul and avenue has almost reached 100%, as only a small step away from breaking through to become the true ancestor. And the shackles of this small step are difficult to cross because of the world restrictions of the quasi-Dao world. Only when they reach the Dao world level 5.8 times can they enter the ranks of the true ancestors. Of course, you can also leave the quasi-Dao world now, enter the chaos, and you can break through to the true ancestors. But in this way, if you want to enter the quasi-Dao world, there is no way to do it. Even if you enter the Dao world in the future, it will be difficult to enjoy the luck of the Dao world, and it will even be difficult to snatch the ancestral monument. Although the way to become a Taoist ancestor now is not only through the use of an ancestral monument, people also know many ways to become a Taoist ancestor, and some people can even use some treasures to forcibly become a Taoist ancestor, which is even better than the number of ancestral monuments. But there are only a few people who can really become Taoist ancestors, because the number of ancestral monuments is still very precious. Few true monarchs are willing to give up the ancestral monument quota, and naturally they do not want to leave the quasi-Dao world now. The cultivation base cannot be improved, and those top half-step true ancestors will spend time comprehending the source magical powers, which is also a way to improve their strength. Chapter 10:16 Talented Ancestor Pond. 30,000 years after Etienne retreated. At this time, he has been in retreat for a full 300 million years in the real-time tower, and has retreated for 300 million years with the help of countless top-level resources. What a long time. This day, Etienne finally cultivated the Juji true body art to the highest realm, the 9th extreme. At this point, the true spirit chapter of Juji true body art can be regarded as complete cultivation. As for the chapter of the Great Tao, Etienne has not yet created it, and even if it is created, there is no way to cultivate for the time being. Physically, Etienne has reached the pinnacle at this moment. Finally reaching the pinnacle of true spirit, the body has formed the body of the extreme way. Etienne exclaimed, I saw him urging his body of the extreme way, and the light of the extreme way was as dazzling as the flames of the sun. Ha ha ha, even if other true monarchs have formed the body of the extreme way, the light of the extreme way is very dim, and my light is like a raging flame. I am afraid that other people will not think that I am the light of the extreme way, but think that I am the light of the extreme way. This is a fire secret technique. Etienne said with a smile. Forming the body of the extreme way, his physical strength has reached an incredible level, and his combat power has already surpassed the true ancestor who appeared on the 29th of the Sunset Sect. If he had the current combat power at that time, he could easily slaughter those 30 true ancestors. I can become a half-step true ancestor now, but I still can't be in a hurry. The physical body has just reached the peak, and the power and soul have not yet reached the limit, but under the nourishment of the body of the extreme way, the power and soul will improve very quickly, and it won't take long. I will be able to reach the limit, then as long as I complete the breakthrough on the prototype of the avenue, I can become the half-step true ancestor. Etienne thought to himself. But he still has a small trouble, that is, his Dao prototype is too big, and it is many times larger than other people's Dao prototypes, so it is difficult to turn such a Dao prototype into a complete Dao. Even the innate source life cannot make Etienne break the shackles and form a complete endless avenue. However, Etienne also did not intend to use the innate source life. In the past, he did not know the drawbacks of the innate source life, but now he has obtained many inheritances from the realm, and is also known as the preparatory peak master of the Black Wind Mountain, so he naturally knows the disadvantages of the innate source life. Once you use the innate source life to break through and become a half-step true ancestor, it seems that there is no harm, but your own source has been polluted a little. This pollution will be troublesome in the future. If you can't completely remove it, it will hurt your own potential. If you become a Taoist ancestor in the future, it will also cause trouble, and there is no way to become the most perfect Taoist ancestor. Therefore, Etienne could not use his innate source life to break through to become a half-step true ancestor, nor would he use it for his own relatives, but he could use it for other true monarchs of the race. Other true monarchs do not have such worries as him, and will never mind these flaws. Etienne did not continue to retreat and return to the human race. At this moment, Etienne found that Xiao Yu's strength had increased to the combat power of the 9-star generals in the initial stage, and was ranked in the top 20 on the list of divine generals. Husband, can I improve my strength? Xiao Yu said proudly. To become a 9-star general, this is even happier than when she became a true monarch in her previous life. Yes, my UAA is very good. Yi Tian praised. But UAA, it's not good for your strength to be exposed on the ancestral monument. I learned a shielding technique from the inheritance of the Black Wind Mountain, which can block the connection between you and the ancestral monument, and can ensure that your strength continues to improve, cannot be monitored by the ancestral monument. Yi Tian said. Then husband, just use that shielding technique. Xiao Yu nodded. Immediately, Yi Tian performed this shielding technique on Xiao Yu. He believed that he was definitely not the only one who performed such a shielding technique, and other forces would definitely have such gods. For example, the 4 transcendental forces, it is easy to send a group of gods in, and then block their strength, so that the ancestral monument cannot be known. Not everyone wants to be on the list of gods, and the list of gods is not really useful for increasing cultivation. And in the records of Haifeng Mountain, people in the realm of the gods don't want to be monitored by the ancestral monument and the treasures similar to the ancestral monument. Otherwise, wouldn't the genius within the middle and upper third heaven sects be exposed? Therefore, the technique of shielding came into being. Treasures like ancestral monuments are almost like waste in the realm or the realm of the gods, and they are useless. Only the function of combining paths will cause some true ancestors to be greedy, and other uses are not attractive at all. After shielding the sense of ancestral monument, Yi Tian devoted all his strength to cultivate Xiao Yu and raise Xiao Yu to the level of a 10-star god general as soon as possible, but this step was very difficult and would take a long time. Back then, it took him a long time to be promoted to the level of a 10-star god general, which caused other god generals to break through to the realm of destiny, and he was still stuck in a god general. Years have passed, Xiao Yu's strength has improved rapidly, and gradually he has been promoted to the 9-star mid-stage god general and the 9-star late-stage god general. This day, Yi Tian got a news from the Zushan temple that the battlefield ruins are about to have a god-level competition. Moreover, this competition caused a stir among all the major forces. It was jointly organized by the 4 transcendental forces and a number of top major forces, and the Zushan faction was also one of them. Yi Tian, as the first true monarch of the Zushan temple, naturally knew the inside story for the first time. The reason why the major forces conduct such a test in the battlefield ruins is because the battlefield ruins have a huge opportunity. These opportunities are only suitable for gods, and are useless to the powerhouse above the destiny realm. 310. And this opportunity, any god will want, even at all costs for it. Talent Ancestral Pond. It turned out to be the talent pool. Yi Tian is also excited. This is an extremely precious treasure, it is many times more valuable than his heaven-splitting divine pillar. The ancestral pond of talent can be said to be a treasure that the forces of the upper 3 layers of heaven must desperately snatch. There are records in the Black Wind Mountain book space, but it takes a long time for a place like Ancestral Pond to accumulate a drop of ancestral pond of talent. Therefore, the innate ancestral pool will only be opened once for a long time, and each time the upper 3rd level forces occupy all the places, and those middle or lower 3rd level forces will not want to contaminate the talent ancestral pool at all. Strange, how can there be a talent ancestral pool in the ruins of the battlefield? Moreover, how come those Taoist ancestors in the domain did not occupy the talent ancestral pool? Yi Tian wondered, but suddenly, he understood. The ancestral pool of talent cannot be moved, and those with destiny and above cannot enter it. Obviously, the talent ancestral pool was originally owned by the Shang Chongtian forces, and it was within the upper 3 circles. The realm of the domain was broken, and the Taoist ancestors could not take care of themselves, resulting in the innate ancestor pool becoming a thing without owner. Today, the talent ancestral pool has been discovered by major forces. This is the process. Chapter 1017 Tao Level Natal Talent. Talent Ancestral Pond. There are not many such treasures even in the realm. I didn't expect a talent ancestral pond to appear in the ruins of the battlefield. It's incredible. The gods of this session are very lucky. If they can enter talented ancestral pool, it will definitely be reborn. Yi Tian exclaimed. Others may not understand the usefulness of the talent pool, but he does. The talent ancestral pool can allow weak creatures to give birth to a natural talent, and it is also a Tao level natural talent. The Tao level natural talent is very special. The weak Tao level natural talent may only be equivalent to the God level, but the powerful Tao level natural talent can surpass the super God level and reach an unprecedented level. In the chaos, talent reaches the limit when it reaches the super God level, and there is almost no way to promote it, but the Tao level talent is an exception. But Tao level talent cannot be formed naturally, and can only be born through the talent ancestral pool. Therefore, the talent ancestral pool is so precious. According to the records of the Black Wind Mountain book space, Tao-level talents can directly use the power of the Tao, and use the power of Tao as the power of talent. If you have a Tao-level talent, you can even practice Tao at the true monarch level, and you can show some power. Although Yi Tian's strength is strong now, he can't practice Taoism. At least he needs to reach the true ancestor before he can hope to practice a Taoism. But the Taoist talent can practice Taoism at the true monarch level. What a terrifying thing. Therefore, every Tao-level talent is a real evildoer. Even if they are weaker in other aspects, a Tao-level talent alone can make up for everything. In addition, the gods who can enter the talent ancestral pool are basically real geniuses in the realm. Except for some gods with great backgrounds, other gods must at least reach 10-star gods to be eligible to enter the talent ancestral pool. After all, the talent ancestral pool can transform many god generals, and the accumulation of long years can only be changed to a few god generals. It can be said that the quota of each talent ancestor pool is many times more precious than the quota of ancestors who are promoted to Taoist ancestors. In the realm, places such as ancestral monuments cannot attract the middle and upper three-level forces at all. They don't care about the ancestral monuments at all, but none of the upper-level three-level forces ignore the talent ancestral pool. UAA happens to be at the level of a god general, and she can completely enter the talent pool. Yi Tian said excitedly, if it were a realm, reincarnated people like his wife Xiao Yu would definitely not be eligible to enter the talent pool. It is impossible for the upper third-level forces to let the reincarnated reincarnations compete for the talent pool, but now the Taoist ancestors of the realm are unable to enter the pool. Was born, so no one would care about such a thing. Therefore, this is an opportunity. At the same time, Yi Tian was also thinking about a question. That is whether the copying talent can copy the Tao-level natural talent. If it can be copied, then the birth of the talent ancestral pool this time is also a huge opportunity for him. When the gods come out of the talent pool, he can copy everyone's Tao-level natural talent. Once he has multiple Tao-level natural talents, he can practice a variety of Tao techniques, and his strength will inevitably reach an incredible level at the true monarch level. Moreover, Yi Tian firmly believes that the Tao-level natural talent is definitely not just as simple as being able to practice Tao at the true monarch level, otherwise it will not make the upper three-level forces so crazy. They will seize the talent ancestral pool at all costs, and even the middle level 3 will not be allowed. The power of the heavens and the forces of the next 3 layers of heaven are involved in the talent ancestral pool. If those forces in the upper third layer learn that the talent ancestral pool is occupied by people from our realm, I'm afraid each of them will be crazy, but they can't be born at the moment, and I'm afraid they won't dare to pay the price to forcibly be born, so there's nothing they can do. Yi Tian thought to himself. The talent ancestral pool is so important that the 4 major detached forces probably want to occupy it, but unfortunately the talent ancestral pool cannot be moved, and now it has been exposed again. It is impossible for any detached force to occupy it alone. In addition, the real power of the 4 transcendental forces is in the chaos, while the 4 transcendental forces in the quasi-Tao world are actually not strong, and even not as strong as some of the top big forces. Therefore, the innate ancestor pool cannot be occupied by any one force alone, so it is shared, and the gods will compete to gain a place to enter the talent ancestor pool. UAA, the talent pool is about to open, do you want to participate? Yi Tian found Xiao Yu and told Xiao Yu about the situation. Of course I will, Xiao Yu said quickly. After Yi Tian talked about it, she also knew how powerful the Tao-level natural talent is. Once she has obtained the Tao-level natural talent, there are too many benefits. Moreover, entering the innate ancestor pond will increase his own potential to a certain extent. Any god will want to enter the innate ancestor pond. She, of course, is no exception. UAA, you are only a 9-star peak god general now. There are too many god generals in the chaos. For example, the 4 transcendental forces must have 9-star peak god generals, even more than 1 or 2. With your current strength may not be able to secure a spot. It is best to raise your strength to a 10-star god general. Yi Tian urged. Husband, it's too late. According to what you said, you need to register now. In a few years, you will start the battle of the talented ancestors of the ancestral pool. Even if you use the time array in a few years, there is no way to increase your strength to 10-star god general. Xiao Yu shook her head and said. Yi Tian also understands this truth. It took a long time for him to rise from the peak of the 9-star god to the 10-star god general. It is true that he could not be promoted to the 10-star god general in just a few years, but it is not absolutely impossible. UAA, this is for you. Yi Tian took out a heavenly soul pill. The Heavenly Soul Pill is a medicinal pill made from the Heavenly Soul fruit. A single Heavenly Soul Pill is enough to make Xiao Yu's soul go through 10,000 years of time, and it is 10,000 years of time when his comprehension has increased to a terrifying level. Using the effect of a good Heavenly Soul Pill, Xiao Yu can completely cultivate a secret technique and supernatural power to the extreme, and can even comprehend the body refining technique to a higher level. Although the cultivation of the body refining technique needs to be accumulated step by step, if you fully understand the body refining technique, and then use the time to refine the resources, you can make rapid progress. Therefore, a single Heaven Soul Pill is enough to make Xiao Yu break the shackles and become a 10-star general. Although it is too wasteful to take the Heavenly Soul Pill at the general level, if you can obtain a Tao level natural talent, then everything is worth it. Heavenly Soul Pill, with it, I can definitely break the shackles and become a 10-star God General. Xiao Yu is full of confidence. Immediately, she started taking the Heavenly Soul Pill, and Yi Tian personally protected her. Soon, the effect of the Heavenly Soul Pill took effect, and Xiao Yu's soul quickly experienced the passage of 10,000 years. In a short time, Xiao Yu has experienced 10,000 years. Chapter 1018 The Battle for the Talent Pool. Boom. Xiao Yu opened her eyes, and an invincible aura came out. Although for Yi Tian, it took a few minutes for Xiao menstruation to transition, but Xiao Yu has really spent 10,000 years, and has fully understood the body refining technique, various secret techniques, chaotic supernatural powers, and the strength of the whole person. An earth-shattering change has taken place. You can break the shackles by just one line and become a 10-star general. Yi Tian commented. Immediately, Yi Tian let Xiao Yu enter the time formation, and began to use various top-level resources to temper her body, so that the body refining technique reached the true limit level. Inside the time array, Xiao Yu has been practicing in seclusion day by day, and Yi Tian also signed up for Xiao Yu to participate in the battle for the talent pool. This time, too many gods will be involved. In the entire quasi-Dao world, there are undoubtedly more god generals than Tianjin and Zhenjin, but generally gods are not qualified to participate, otherwise the number of participants is too large, and the major forces will not be able to arrange it. Therefore, at the very least, 7-star gods are required to be eligible to participate in the battle for the talent pool. But in the true sense, the 7-star gods seldom come to sign up. Even if they sign up, they don't really want to get a place in the talent pool, because they know very well that they are not qualified, so they only come to communicate with other geniuses. This is them, the real purpose. In the quasi-Dao world, there are many gods above 7 stars. For example, the last place in the list of 1,000 gods is an 8-star god general, which is enough to see how many geniuses in the quasi-Dao world. If it was changed to the past, this is absolutely unimaginable. After all, any 8-star god general is enough to be a true disciple of a top power, but in today's quasi-Dao world, a mere 8-star god general is nothing. Originally, any god general wanted to sign up, he had to go in person. After all, he had to prove himself that his strength was above the 7-star god general. But Xiao Yu is a god general on the god general list, so he doesn't need to prove his strength, and with Yi Tian's guarantee, he can save his life to participate in the battle of the talent ancestral pool. With the passage of time, the date of the battle for the talent pool quota is getting closer and closer. At this time, many gods who were retreating and cultivating came out one by one and rushed to the ruins of the battlefield. This day, Xiao Yu is finally out. Yue, how are you? Yi Tian asked with concern. Husband, I succeeded. Xiao Yu said with joy on her face. Seeing this, Yi Tian was also very happy. Xiao Yu's strength has reached the 10-star god general, plus the chaos supernatural powers and many great supernatural powers he has mastered. If there is no accident, a place is absolutely no problem. Let's go, I'll take you to the battlefield ruins. 1. Yi Tian took Xiao Yu's hand, tore apart the space, and left the human race territory. Shortly after, Yi Tian came to the battlefield ruins with the large army of Zushan Temple. This time, the Zushan Temple also dispatched a large number of gods to participate in the battle for the talent ancestral pool, and even the human race has many gods above 7 stars to participate. Actual combat experience, seeing the real big scene, maybe it can be completely famous. More importantly, this time, many Taoist incarnations will come to watch the battle. If a Taoist is valued, he can become a direct disciple of the Taoist, and his identity will rise at once. Therefore, this is also the reason why many gods have to participate in the battle for the talent pool quota despite their lack of strength. But this time the battle for the talent pool quota is not destined to be simple. It was just a grand exchange of ideas. The ruins of the battlefield, a ruin was transformed into a venue for the exchange of talent ancestral pools. All around, countless palaces are suspended here. Countless true monarchs sit in palaces, above the endless void, and the incarnations of Taoist ancestors sit on their thrones and look down, paying attention to this battle. As for the gods who participated in the battle for the talent pool quota, they stood on the field of players. At first glance, there are too many divine generals, at least as many as 100,000. A genius with more than 100,000 7-star generals, this is simply unimaginable. Back then, when the great universe had just been born, although many geniuses had entered the chaos, the gods above 7 stars were relatively rare. And this is the first time that so many talents have gathered together. In the palace of Zushan Temple, Yi Tian sat on the throne with a group of half-step true ancestors, and looked at Xiao Yu on one of the players' fields. Suddenly, the voice of a half-step true ancestor came from the side. "Little junior brother, I heard that your wife also participated in this talent pool battle." The person who transmits the sound is Zhenjin Longhai of Zushan Temple. "Senior brother Longhai, my wife did participate in the battle for the talent pool." Yi Tian replied. True monarch Longhai frowned and said, "Little junior brother, the talent pool is indeed very magical, even Daozu is very eager, but unfortunately only the gods can enter. Such a treasure land, no one will stand still. I can understand your feeling that you want your wife to enter the innate ancestor pool. But this time the battle for the innate ancestor pool is not easy, I'm afraid a lot of people will die." "I know," Yi Tian said solemnly. "If it wasn't for the talent pool that limited the cultivation base, if all the Dao ancestors were allowed to fight, I would estimate that even the Dao ancestors would fall a lot. For the battle for the places, the gods will fight to the death, the major forces will do whatever it takes, but I have full confidence in CJFI, my wife." Seeing that Yi Tian's thoughts could not be changed, Zhenjin Longhai stopped persuading him. He also didn't want something to happen to Yi Tian's wife. If something happened, he knew that his little junior brother would definitely go mad, but this time the matter was so important that the incarnation of Taoist ancestors didn't know how much had happened. At this time, if you don't quit the battle for the talent pool, you will not be able to quit later, and no one can forcefully intervene during the battle. But Yi Tian is not worried. What can he do? Even if I used to be at the peak of the 9-star god general's strength, I may not be able to participate in such a battle for the talent pool of the ancestors, and I may not be able to be safe, and even unlucky will fall. Longhai Zhenjin secretly said. He didn't think that Yi Tian's wife Xiao Yu could be so powerful. If she was really talented, she wouldn't be reincarnated. But he never imagined that Yi Tian had the talent of copying, and could bestow all the super god level talents on Xiao Yu, and he could even bestow the fusion talents that he did not need to Xiao Yu. Coupled with Yi Tian's deduction of physical skills from Zhu Jizhen, Xiao Yu Zulong has grown to an incomparable level of deviance. If he knew, he would not persuade Yi Tian. Soon, it's almost time. Boom, a Taoist avatar appeared in the field. Many true monarchs and god generals looked around, but not many people knew this Taoist ancestor. But with the sound transmission of someone who recognized, gradually everyone got to know the Taoist ancestor. Lunfeng Daozu of the Transcendent Force Daoshan. This is a triple heavenly ancestor, and he is also a top triple heavenly ancestor. Let a third-level Tian Daozu incarnate to preside over this battle of the innate ancestor pool, and he is the third-level Tian Daozu of the Transcendent Forces, which shows how much the major forces attach great importance to this battle for the talent ancestor pool. In the battle for the talent pool, I just want to say a few points. First, once you get involved, once you die, the forces behind you will not be able to retaliate. Second, you can use any means, as long as your own power can be used. But if you use the power of other powerhouses, you can kill them on the spot, even the son of Daozu cannot escape. Third, once you participate, you cannot quit, but as long as you admit defeat in time, you can end the game. Fourth, you must follow the rules. The competition shall not exceed the rules. Now there are gods who want to quit, you can quit now. After Lunfeng Daozu finished speaking, many gods began to regret it. It is not forbidden to use any means, this is a real life and death fight. As for admitting defeat, you can survive, but in the real battle process, the changes are so great that in many cases there is no time to shout the word admit defeat. It is conceivable that in this battle for the talent pool quota, many weak people will probably die. For a time, many god generals regretted and chose to quit. Originally, there were at least 20,000 of the 100,000 generals who had withdrawn all at once, leaving only more than 70,000 generals. When the number of people no longer changed, Lunfeng Daozu said loudly. The battle for the talent pool quota, starting now. The first round is to enter the trial space. Each person has a token. Killing or defeating the enemy who admits defeat can get the other party tokens. All the gods who have been robbed of tokens or died will be eliminated completely, and in the end, 10,000 people will be able to advance to the next round. In addition, those who have robbed 10 tokens will be able to advance to the next round. Leaving the trial space is to prevent the two powerhouses from fighting, resulting in the fall of the powerhouse or the early elimination. What? Many gods will be shocked. Under such rules, how tragic the fight is. If you want to save your life, you might have to drop the token to admit defeat when you enter the trial space, otherwise there will be a lot of deaths. Before anyone could refute or refuse, Lunfeng Daozu waved his hand and sent more than 70,000 gods into a world that was temporarily opened up before, and the pictures in the world were projected one by one. The first round of the battle for the talent pool quota has begun. Chapter 10:19 The tragic first round. Because it is a small world of trials, it cannot be too big, otherwise everyone hides, and I don't know how long it will take to end this round of competition. Of course, more than 70,000 gods will be distributed almost randomly in the small world, and there is no rule at all. These gods had just entered the small world of trials, and the battle began. And some 7-star god generals used concealment methods after entering the small world of trials, trying to avoid some powerful 9-star god generals. These 7-star generals naturally know that they are not the opponents of the 9-star generals, and they just want to play against other 7-star generals. If they are lucky enough to defeat 10 7-star generals, they can leave the small world of trials ahead of schedule. But not every 7-star god general has such powerful means, and most of them were discovered by other 8-star gods and 9-star gods. Try out a small space. Xiao Yu was looking for other divine generals, but before she could take action against other divine generals, a divine general found her. Boom! An 8-star god will kill Xiao Yu with a gloomy aura. He didn't know Xiao Yu. Although Xiao Yu was the top god general on the list of god generals, because Xiao Yu was too low-key, almost nothing happened, and he never appeared in public, many god generals didn't know about Xiao Yu at all. What is the month like? As a result, many gods have heard of Xiao Yu, but do not know Xiao Yu. Court death. Xiao Yu took action, and a terrifying aura erupted from her originally restrained breath. Do not. The 8-star god shrank his pupils sharply, terrified to the extreme. He didn't expect that a divine general he casually found would turn out to be such a powerful divine general, which was too unfortunate. As Yi Tian's wife, Xiao Yu seldom shot, but it did not mean kindness and soft-heartedness, so she would not be merciful. In such a game, once she was merciful, if the enemy had a huge hole card, then the fallen person is himself. Therefore, Xiao Yu's attack is the ultimate move. The 8-star god general wanted to admit defeat, but Xiao Yu's shot was too fast, a sword stabbed, and a cold light suddenly appeared. Shout out! The cold light of the sword tore apart the body of the 8-star general, directly slicing it into a blood mist. An 8-star god general has fallen. When the 8-star god general fell, there was a loud roar from a major force, but there was no trouble. In such a competition, let alone the fall of an 8-star god general, even if a 9-star god general fell, don't dare to make trouble, otherwise all the Taoist incarnations will target, and it will not only be some gods who die. As time passed, a famous god would fall into Xiao Yu's hands, and Xiao Yu soon accumulated 10 tokens. After getting 10 tokens, Xiao Yu stopped killing people. After all, getting 10 tokens would definitely qualify for the next round, so there was no need to kill too many people. What's more, Xiao Yu is not the one to kill. In addition to Xiao Yu, some 9-star god generals also obtained 10 tokens one by one and came out of the small world of trials. As for those weak 7-star generals, very few were lucky enough to hide deep, no one found them, but most of them were found, and quite a few of them encountered powerful 8-9-star generals, and they didn't even have the chance to admit defeat. Instant kill. There are still some who admit defeat in time and are eliminated in advance. Although they cannot advance to the next round, they have a chance to survive, but it is difficult to show themselves, and there is no way to gain fame in the favor of Taoist ancestors. But the most unlucky ones were some of the 9-star early-stage god generals, who met some more enchanting 9-star peak god generals, and were killed by 9-star peak god generals. And there are far more than 1 or 2 gods in the early stage of the 9-star fall, and these gods are the real injustices. After all, even if the 9-star early-stage god general could not get the talent pool spot, it would still be enough to shine in such a competition, but the 9-star god general with a promising future would never fall into such a competition. After half a day, as a large number of gods fell or were eliminated, the number gradually decreased to 10,000. Sudden, Lunfeng Daozu appeared again, and the sound entered the small trial space. The first round of assessment is over. 1. As these words came, some of the 7-star gods and even the 8-star gods who survived by chance breathed a sigh of relief. The happiest are some gods who are about to fall and die. They are in battle and are about to be killed. Unexpectedly, the first round of the game is over, so they survived. The first round was over, and no one dared to take another shot. Swish! A famous god came out of the small world of trials, and immediately stood on a field. A whole 10,000 people stood here, facing the gazes of countless strong men. Give you 10 days to recover, and 10 days later for the second round. Lunfeng Daozu said. Immediately, some seriously injured gods took out various healing pills, and even took out the time array to speed up the healing time for themselves, fully recovered within. For flowers, some gods who were not injured silently meditated on the news and adjusted their status. In the blink of an eye, 10 days have passed. The second round has begun. This round of competition is not as cruel as the first round. The first round of competition is more like a selection of players. After all, there are indeed too many god generals. It takes a long time to compete one by one. Therefore, most of the god generals are eliminated. The remaining 10,000 gods will continue to compete, which is a better arrangement. The second round is divided into 10 groups, each with 1,000 people, and only 10 people in one group can advance to the next round. And it is stipulated that each person in each group must go through 100 battles, and the 10 players with the best record will advance. 0. Of course, the loser can have a chance to challenge, and if the challenge fails, he will be eliminated completely. In such a single-player game, the chance of falling is not very big. After all, if the difference in real power is too large, you can directly admit defeat. If the difference in strength is not large, you will have time to admit defeat. It's scary because there are gods who will hide their strength, and it will be too late for the opponent to admit defeat. The third group number, 78, Yitian read Xiao Yu's number plate. The distribution of 10 groups is reasonable, and a few 9-star peaks reach each group, and brother appears. This is enough to ensure that every strong person can advance to the third round, but this is not certain. After all, if any 9-star peak god will fall into the game, this situation is not unique. Yitian is very confident in Xiao Yu's strength, so he won't worry. Soon, the second round of competition officially began. A huge competition arena appeared, and many Taoist incarnations set up restrictions and solidified the arena, which was enough to support the gods to fight on the arena. Moreover, the space expansion formation is arranged on the arena, so that the internal space of each arena is very huge. Although it is not as big as a small world, it will not make the gods feel shy. Pair after pair of gods entered the ring, and the battle began. Almost every god general has taken out all of his strength and whole cards. In the case of insufficient strength, no god general dares to hide his clumsiness, otherwise the whole cards will be useless, and I am afraid they will be defeated or killed. After a while, it was Xiao Yu's turn to appear in the third group. Chapter 1020 The God of Transcendent Power. The one who fought against Xiao Yu was a 7-star peak god general, and the gap between the two sides was too great. Maybe at first, other people didn't know Xiao Yu, but now almost all the information is known, and Xiao Yu's identity is basically known by other gods. Therefore, the 7-star peak god will naturally not challenge a 9-star god to death. The gap between the 7-star god and the 9-star god is too big. Once they fight, they will be instantly killed. Of course, there are also some 7-star peak gods who dare to challenge 8-star gods. Even if they can't beat them, they can hold on for a while, at least they can show their fighting talents and potential in such a competition. As each game went on, Xiao Yu won each game almost effortlessly, because almost all of Xiao Yu's opponents conceded defeat. The 9-star god generals almost never fought against each other at the beginning, so in the second round, the 9-star god, 310, will hardly have any pressure at the beginning and can almost easily win. Time passed day by day, I don't know how many games were played. On this day, Xiao Yu finally fought against a 9-star general. The opponent was a 9-star early-stage god general of the Blood Moon faction, and he did not choose to admit defeat, but fought against Xiao Yu. The Blood Moon faction has hatred with the Zushan faction, and the Blood Moon faction once sent people to join forces with other forces to surround and kill Yi Tian, so Xiao Yu hated the Blood Moon faction very much. Therefore, Xiao Yu is a chaos supernatural power as soon as he makes a move. Although she was unable to exert the power of Chaos Divine ability with the strength of her Divine General, she could only display the prototype-like Chaos Divine ability, but when this Chaos Divine ability came out, the audience was still shocked. Great Destruction. This is the chaotic supernatural power that is relatively high on the list of chaotic supernatural powers. Although it has obtained a lot of chaotic supernatural power inheritance from the realm, the ranking of the Great Destruction technique has dropped a lot, but it still ranks in the top 100. It can be said that it is simply too rare for a god to be able to practice the Great Destruction technique. Boom! The light of the Great Destruction technique shrouded the 9-star god general of the Blood Moon faction, and seeing that the 9-star god general didn't have time to admit defeat, the whole person directly turned into powder and dissipated between heaven and earth. Killing a 9-star early-stage god in one move is so terrifying. Little junior brother, your wife actually practiced the Great Destruction technique at the level of the gods, and you paid a lot of money. Zhenjin Longhai said in surprise. Although there are countless resources and the major forces are very rich, there is still one resource that is still lacking, that is, the resource that can integrate talents. Even in the domain, this kind of resource is extremely rare. And with the advent of the prosperous world of practice, countless gods, heavenly monarchs, and true monarchs have risen one by one. This kind of resource consumption that can integrate talents is very serious, and many chaotic supernatural powers are almost cut off from inheritance. There are even some resources that integrate talent, and they are sold at the auction of Chaos Trading Company to a level higher than the value of the half-Dao weapon, and the value has refreshed people's cognition. If it was changed to the previous one, a half-Dao weapon would be enough to exchange for a large amount of resources for fusion talent. Times are different, and the value of some things is naturally different. Precisely because of the lack of resources that can integrate talents, very few of the gods participating in the competition have mastered powerful supernatural powers, let alone chaos supernatural powers. Therefore, Xiao Yu suddenly showed a great chaotic supernatural power such as a Great Destruction technique, which really shocked countless powerhouses. Senior brother Longhai, compared to the talent ancestral pool, what is a mere amount of resources? There must be quite a few of these gods who have developed supernatural powers stronger than the Great Destruction technique, but those people have not been exposed yet. Yi Tian said. Right, Zhenjin Longhai smiled. As Xiao Yu showed her combat power, some of the mid-9-star gods and even the late-stage 9-star gods that she encountered next did not dare to fight against Xiao Yu and chose to admit defeat. After all, losing a game doesn't affect anything, and you can still advance to the next round. In the last match of the third group of Xiao Yu, she met a powerful opponent, a divine general from the Chaos Life Alliance, a transcendent force. Under normal circumstances, many chaotic beings have almost no gods, because they are born in the realm of destiny, but some descendants of chaotic beings have the level of gods. In addition, the descendants of chaotic life are all powerful, so many powerful gods have also been born. The god general who is about to fight against Xiao Yu is a descendant of the bloodline of the T-Online beast. The T-Online beast is an incomparably powerful chaotic life, even more powerful than the star-horned beast, but the T-Online beast is extremely rare. Just a dozen or so. But there are many descendants of the bloodline of the celestial beasts. They are not pure celestial beasts, but only have some characteristics of the celestial beasts, but their potential is still much stronger than that of many chaotic life races. I am the descendant of the heavenly Lin beast Daozu of the Chaos Life Alliance. My name is Slaughter. I know that you are the wife of the Wanfa Daozi, but unfortunately the identity of the Wanfa Daozi is not a deterrent to me. I suggest you admit defeat. Otherwise you are likely to fall into this game. 1. Killing spirit is very arrogant. You think you can beat me? Xiao Yu said coldly. Naturally, Killing Ling said with a smile. My opponents will always only be the geniuses of the other three transcendental forces, as for the other geniuses, I don't care about any of them. The direction of the Hall of Void Heaven. Zhenjin Longhai frowned. This slaughter spirit is not ranked high on the ancestral monument god generals list, far inferior to Xiao Yu. I didn't expect to be so arrogant. He has hidden his strength. Yi Tian said, this slaughtering spirit should have the combat power of a 9-star peak god general, and he has practiced many chaotic supernatural powers, plus the secret technique and trump card of transcendental power. He does have this confidence. What, the 9-star peak god general? Longhai Zhenjin said quickly. Little junior brother, although your wife is also a 9-star peak god general, but the other party is from a detached force, and the trump card must be very strong, not as good as. Before Longhai Zhenjin finished speaking, Yi Tian interrupted. Senior brother Longhai, don't worry, UAA is sure, otherwise she won't admit defeat, I will also persuade her to admit defeat. There are only 5.8 people who really understand her strength. That's me. Having said that, Zhen Jinlonghai nodded. He also knew that Yi Tian couldn't let his wife take risks. Since Yi Tian was not worried, I am afraid that Xiao Yu was really not afraid of a 9-star peak god general. Thinking about Yi Tian's amazing combat power again, he is invincible at the same rank, and is truly invincible. No one has ever been able to suppress Yi Tian at the same rank, and he can hardly see Yi Tian's back. With Yi Tian's guidance, Xiao Yu couldn't be weaker. Soon, Xiao Yu and Killing Spirit really fought each other. This game also attracted the attention of many Taoist incarnations and countless true monarchs. After all, this game involves transcendental forces, and there is another one who was the first true monarch in the quasi-Dao world. Daozi's wife. Therefore, this match can be called the most influential battle.